What you know about rolling down in the deep? Riding in the deep. Down in the deep. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. About rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about?
So deep, I've been sleeping by the week. Right. Mixing Tennessee with a touch of Tennessee.
Down in the
deep, I'm a freak in the sheets. Right. You think you seen it all? I got more tricks up my sleeve. You know better than to bring your friends around me. Right. I know you fucking him, but you wish it was me. Let me whisper in your ear, cause you know I'm a freak. You know nothing about going down that deep. I don't give a fuck what they say about me.
What you know about rolling? What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about rolling? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit right here. What you know about rolling down in the deep? Riding in the deep. Down in the deep. Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here. About rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about?
So deep, I've been sleeping by the week.
Right.
Beerus, my lord, is there something you wish to say?
Here it comes.
Like us, but their lives are a lot harder. Wakanda has the tools to liberate them all.
What it do, y'all? It's your boy King Kurt live, back at it again. Starting trouble, apparently. starting all kinds of conversations and controversy. It ain't even me, y'all, this time. It's not even me. Apparently, Netflix found it prudent to give Dave Chappelle a shit ton of money to say what he feels to the national audience. And not everybody liked what he had to say. Not everybody understood what the big deal was. We have come together tonight to have a conversation. And why is the conversation necessary? Because there are varying opinions on what is and is not acceptable about Dave Chappelle's comedy special, The Closer. Now, there is varying degrees of feelings. One of the things I'm going to ask now, and I'm going to just forewarn folks, I got mods in the chat, and they will be monitoring the decorum and the respect level of those making comments, leaving comments. Some questions, if I find it prudent, I'll bring them up and put them on during the live feed. This is absolutely live. And feel free to ask questions that you feel are pertinent, but nobody here owes anyone else an answer or an education. One of the things that I love most about this particular topic is it is so extremely nuanced because it affects multiple communities and then one specific community. For those that might not know it, I am a stand-up comedian. Been a stand-up comedian for well over 10 years now. All my life. My mama said I was a fool since the day I was born, but she old, so she'll know what she's talking about. But just so you understand the place that I'm coming from, and I feel it important to say this. I've been on stage with some greats. I have been able to perform with some legends. And between working in radio, stage, my brand is pretty well known. And if you aren't sure if Kurt actually knows what he's talking about when it comes to stand-up comedy, if you're like, oh, you one of them fair weather TikTokers or whatever, I feel the need to quantify myself.
If anybody's ever seen me do stand-up before, you know I love coming off the Rick Ross. Primarily because I think Rick Ross should, you know that grunt that he does? Everybody know the grunt? Every big dude was like, I mean, like that should be the international sound for all fat people for yes. Would you like fries with that? Man, are you losing weight? You see what that girl had on? Like, where did he come up with that? Was he like walking up the steps one day sweating like,
Mermaid, I appreciate all that laughter you was giving behind the scenes. I saw you cracking up a little bit. So the reason why I show that is because I want you to understand, not only do I know how to tell a joke, not only do I know how to play to an audience, but also I know what goes into writing a comedy special. And that is the small nuances. That's the only input that I'm giving is as far as a comedian is concerned. Now, I also did an interview with Violet Gray. If you're unfamiliar with Violet Gray, maybe you've seen her at BlurCon. Maybe you've seen her stand-up performances somewhere around the DMV area. She's an amazing non-cisgendered Black comic. Who better to talk to than Violet? We have some excerpts from the interview that I did with her that we'll be using throughout our discussion because we have some other people who are here live and we're going to get their thoughts and views. But and just to give credence to Violet, she's funnier than me.
Ladies and gentlemen, make a lot of noise right now for Violet Gray.
Hello, how's everybody doing? Doing all right? That's good because I don't know if you watch the news, but apparently we're going to have to redo the 60s again. A little bit about me. My name is Violet Gray, and I am gender variant. Give it up for me. It took me a long time to figure out who I am, but along the way, I had a lot of fun with it. I was at a club one time, and this guy came up to me, and he's just like wearing a beer gut and booty shorts, ladies. And he comes up to me, and he's like, "Hi, my name is Joe. I'm into water sports. What are you into?" That's what he said. And so I got close in his ear, and I said,
Cross-dressing.
and then he got all mad at me like I was the weirdo. But he told me he was into water sports. Does anybody here know what that means? A couple people know what that means. And for those of you without an internet connection, water sports is slang for a urine fetish. Right. But I'm the weirdo. He was like, "What? You're a tranny? That's disgusting. I'm gonna go pee on somebody else." Godspeed.
Yeah. She's absolutely hilarious. She was a bit more insightful in the conversation because as a woman who is a part of the trans community, she had really strong feelings about what Dave Chappelle said. But as two comedians, we had a great sit-down conversation, and that's a little bit later on. We're going to play that. But first, I have to give it up to my panel that is here with me right now. I just want to thank the three of you ladies for coming through and sitting down with the king in the king's court, because Lord knows y'all listen, y'all some brave souls. And I'm not saying brave. I know, look, Murray, I already know, because y'all with the smoke. I know you with the smoke. But it's difficult when you know the level of ignorance that people can exhibit on the internet. Can we all just can we at least say that people be on a different type time when they behind keyboards?
Yes.
All right. Because even then, despite what Dave Chappelle said, we don't know the mental state of his friend Daphne, but I'm pretty sure those Twitter rants, her defense of him, did play a part in where her emotional and mental state was towards the end of it. Now, with that being said, like I said, if everybody on the panel, no matter what the opinion is, we've already agreed that we're going to be civil and we're respectful of everybody's ideas. I'm absolutely going to give these ladies ample time to just say how they feel, because so many times throughout this entire conversation, people have been telling other people how to feel. I thought it was pertinent to get the people who are actually affected in the community that Dave Chappelle attacked or not attacked, depend on who you are and how you feel about it. I've already been called everything but a child of God for even doing this show. People said I was going to get canceled and everything, and y'all fail to realize that I am still poor, black, and in America. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. So we getting ready to get this thing kick-started. First and foremost, I want to give a big shout out, and hopefully Tiana is here with us. Are you there? All right, we're gonna allow Tiana to work through her technical difficulties in the hopes. See, that's how it be. Once it get live, that's when shit gets funky. Shanae said, because I am not a child of God. You are absolutely right, because I have been known to do some devilish things in my time. Next up, of course, Black Mermaid. Could you be so kind as to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. So please excuse my voice offhand because I just got back from King's Dominion yesterday, so my voice is a little bit shaky. But hi, my name is the Black Mermaid. I am a trans Twitch streamer, model, content creator. So I get all the comments and have been transitioning for well amount of years. So you can try it, but you're not. So I love all of y'all. Feel free to come in. I'm very open to discussion, and yeah.
Got you. And I appreciate that. And Lord knows, I can only imagine what you endure on Twitch. Because Twitch is his own little nuanced space, if you will. Now, Tiana, I'm glad. Do I got you? Are you here with me now?
Baby, we in and we out and we in and we out again, baby. I don't know. But we gonna try. We gonna try.
We gonna do-si-do. We gonna do-si-do around this mother.
We gonna do something.
Yeah,
Okay.
listen. Feel free to
Clearly,
talk how
I do
you
not
want to
have
talk.
the proper equipment. Okay.
Oh, you already starting early, goddammit. All right. Listen, feel free to use whatever language you feel most comfortable with. And if you can, Tiana, be so kind as to introduce yourself to the people.
So my name is Christiana Noel Jackson. And baby, I'm just here for the bullshit and the fuckery because shit, let's get into it, period. Because I got a lot to say. A lot to say.
All right. And that's exactly what we'll do. We are absolutely opening the platform so that everybody, especially those of our Black folk, because y'all already know how HNIC do. The whole point of the platform is to give a voice to those that need it amplified and to promote dope Black creatives, which all three of our panelists happen to be. Speaking of dope Black creatives, I have to say that me and the last panelist I'm going to introduce was introduced by a mutual friend, a publicist friend, and literally single-handedly, she is one of the most interesting women and individuals I have met in a long time. And I'm super proud of her because her new book, Broken Through a Shattered Glass, is out in these streets, and she's on a full-on book tour, and she's doing the damn thing out in Vegas, living the good life. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not getting flued out to Vegas no time soon, but that's all right. I mean, it's cold in Philly, but please, by all means, Audrey, introduce yourself.
Well, I mean, first of all, before I even get into the introduction, honey, you didn't even ask me and flown out. So, I mean, it could have been possible, but
right. See, you look, Black Mermaid. You see, she took 5 seconds, and we already here.
Don't drag me into this.
No, because I blame you because you set the tone backstage. You know you did. You know y'all are
snitching on me.
Listen, all I do is tell inconvenient truths. That's it. We out here exposing the fuckery.
Period.
Not inconvenient truth, baby Jesus. Yes, inconvenient truth.
Look, they talking shit about me in the chat. Come on, Audrey. Say something about this amazing thing that you got going on, and especially your book.
Yes. Hi, world, Facebook, Twitter, all the stuff in the world. This is your girl, Audrey Nicole. I am a trans woman here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And as Kirk had gave my wonderful introduction, which I thank you, I have written a book, which is called Broken Through a Shattered Glass. Broken Through a Shattered Glass is basically a short biography of my life, how I went from being this young gay Black kid here in North Carolina to transforming into this beautiful Nubian goddess that you see today. In Tell of It All, I talk through letters to certain individuals who have positively or negatively impacted my life in some way, shape, or form. And I give a little insight into my second book, which will be titled Transition, which I will go through a step-by-step process in how I transition from, the treatments to physical surgery. So,
listen, y'all already know you can go on Amazon right now, cop a book, and especially for those who are struggling to identify and find themselves, sometimes another person's journey is a great way to kind of set your path straight. And if I can, I'm just going to say, like I said before, everybody has an individual opinion about Dave Chappelle's special. And if y'all haven't seen the closer yet, I just want to set some context for the actual special. So I went back through it multiple times, and I rewatched it. And by the 10th time I rewatched it, I started taking notes. And by the time I got done my notes, I just want to share a couple things with you. First and foremost, Dave Chappelle literally insulted everyone from top to bottom. And this is in order of the special. This is in order of the special. If you go back through it, this is who he insults in order. Coronavirus deaths, homeless people, Magic Johnson, Asians that were abused, child molestation. He actually insulted himself. Space Jews, police shooting black men, Clifford the Big Black Nigger, Mike Pence, gay men in glory holes, lesbian women, and tenderizing them titties, as he said, not me. We not supposed. I thought we not supposed to be laughing.
I'm sorry. You shouldn't have said it like that.
I know that he shouldn't have said it like that.
But it was funny when he said it.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
It was hilarious. I laughed.
Lesbian women and beating up lesbian women, white hippie women with dirty feet, white women who feels he hates women, then all women, then the feminist movement, then tear gassing the women at the march for the feminist movement.
Okay, wait. I don't think we can claim that as him because he said that someone texted him that.
No. He absolutely no. He told the joke. He recanted it. He recited it. I mean, he said it again. That's on Dave.
Right.
Then
he said
then
it.
He said it.
Period.
Listen, and that's what we are going to hold him accountable for exactly what he said. He then insulted the Me Too movement, Susan B. Anthony, and calls her Joyner Truth a bitch. Listen, I'm just running it down.
It owes so many words, yes.
Yes. Now, mind you, this is in the first 30 minutes. This is in the first 30 minutes of the special. After that, for the next 30 minutes, he insulted the trans community, trans women, trans men. And then he said, I am Team Turf. This is where shit gets interesting. Now, by the end of it, he made the statement that he says that he isn't saying trans women aren't women, but that they are different from cisgendered women. He made a joke about Impossible Meat that I'm not going to reply or repeat.
No, okay, I'm not gonna lie. That gave me a giggle only because I eat Impossible Meat. But anyway, go continue.
But how do I put this? The parallel he used to describe how he felt.
That fucking
not appropriate, but I'm of the nature where if an old person slips and falls down the steps, I'm gonna laugh at him and then help him back up. I can absolutely identify that something is not right to laugh at, but also the natural comedian and asshole in me finds humor in everything, even tragedy. Because when he said that he enjoyed nutting in the priest's face that was molesting him, I was like, oh, Dave, that's not, but it's about you. So, okay. So I just wanted to outline everybody that he insulted in this special. So now I want to start because I want to get Tiana first before anything happens. How did you feel about the special?
Okay, because baby.
she said, look, I don't need no. Go ahead, go off.
Baby. So this was disgusting, first and foremost, but it's always been disgusting. Like, I knew as a young child when I got on the TV and I saw a string of at that during the 90s that wasn't for me. It didn't matter. I thought it
I feel so bad because I know she wanted to go in.
was. It wasn't for. I knew that
Somebody hacking her. That's what it is.
Once I
y'all
went
keep
into
y'all
public
businesses?
spaces, I knew that the mentality that everybody carried, um, listening to those jokes was something that they were going to take as like truth. And because, there's always some sort of truth to comedy. So I knew when I went into public that those jokes were going to be taken that way. And so public spaces were going to be more dangerous for me as a trans individual. Now, mind you,
We just gonna bear with her and see if oh, it might be
Y'all,
the
reset
hard.
my good sis.
Yeah, we might have to do the hard reset. All right. While we get Tiana back online, Black Mermaid, talk to me.
Oh.
Because you always with the shits. You are always with the shits. How did you feel about the special?
So let me first start off by saying I've been watching Dave Chappelle since Dave Chappelle show. I grew up on Dave Chappelle, so I'm used to his antics to a degree. Now, will I say that this special is his normal? No. I feel like he was going for the top 100% of like assholery he could.
Yeah.
But he started by saying this would be my last one. He knew. He knew. He did it on purpose at this point, I feel. Now, yes, some of his stuff was funny. But was it correct to say no? Not at all. But Dave Chappelle has never been the correct to say type of person.
Right.
I mean, come on. He made a whole character about crackheads. Can we talk about it? Like, so I've never expected him to be politically correct. He's just gotten better at it over the years. So let me first start off by saying that. Now, fast forwarding because I'm not going to cover all the things that don't pertain to my particular topic because that is not my place. I'm going to fast forward to my most uncomfortable part was by far the restroom joke. I'm explaining to y'all why the restroom joke is so uncomfortable for me. It is a still ongoing struggle that a lot of the community has, where even people in high school can't even use the correct bathrooms. And I know most people don't know that, but these are things that are still prevalent, and we're still fighting for bathroom rights. And for you to sit here and say that, you feel uncomfortable by us being in either bathroom at this point is what it sounds like. Um, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Now, the delivery of it, because he's a comedian, was meant to be funny, so I'm pretty sure it was funny to y'all. But it wasn't too funny to us because some of us still have to fight
Actually
about
live
that.
you gotta live that.
Yeah, like there's been plenty of times where I'm like, I just want to go home because I don't want to try to do the bathroom thing. I refrain from going places because it's a lot. It's a very vulnerable thing, and the last thing you need is to go into the bathroom, come out, wash your hands, and somebody throw a whole fit. I'll be damned. I'm gonna curse her out, curse out the manager, and curse out the whole goddamn company. I don't got time. So I just stay in my lane at my house. But a lot of people wouldn't understand the struggles of
Right.
getting ready to go out in the world because it's not something that most people think about. Now, the delivery of the trans men joke was odd to me. I don't find it funny. I know it was funny to some people, not me, but I thought that was very odd. Because first of all, I don't think a trans man would have used a urinal, but we're gonna continue past that part.
Real quick, Diana, because I don't want to interrupt you. For those who might be didn't see the special, or you need to be reminded of the
Oh,
actual joke.
you need to send me the punchline.
Well, I put it like this. I'm not. You can remind the folks of what joke you're specifically referring to.
So the joke that I am specifically referring to is when he says that there is a law in Greensboro, if I remember correctly, if my memory
Yeah,
serves
something
me
like that.
correctly, because I literally just refreshed it. For anybody who wants to argue, bitch, I just watched it. I just finished. So Greensboro, it has a law that you must use the bathroom that is assigned to you at birth. So that means for trans women, it will be the men's bathroom. For trans men, it will be the female's bathroom. That is the one that you're assigned at birth. So he was saying that he would feel uncomfortable if one of the one of someone like me or one of the other girls on the panel walked up to him and used the bathroom next to him in the urinal, pulled up our skirt and everything. he said he would feel much better if a trans man came and backed it up on the urinal. First of all, weird. Anyway, so I don't see them doing that. But nonetheless, he also makes it seem like there's only urinals in the guys' bathroom.
Yeah, I was like,
We're
there's
not
a
gonna
whole
get into
stall,
that.
Dave.
Anyway,
Like, got you,
so
got.
we
Sorry, I
past
want to get
that
off base. I
part.
don't want to get off base. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah, no, fuck the urinal only bathrooms that don't exist.
Right.
So it was just odd to me and it made me uncomfortable because I was like, so we're not welcome in the girls' bathroom, we're not welcome in the guys' bathroom, so we just don't get to use the bathroom at all. Like, so fuck us. So I just got to hold my innards and die.
Right. Right.
That's pretty much how it came off. And I think he was trying to make the joke poke fun at the law that didn't make sense to him either. Um, but at the same time, I think it slightly backfired, and I think that's where a lot of that outrage comes in because it's still a prevalent thing that we fight with today.
Right.
I was, if I get past that part, the rest of it gets not so easy to handle, but a little bit better. That part really just
Wait a minute, hold on,
like,
Blackbird.
ugh.
You had to quantify that for me a little bit.
I am. Let me get
All
I
right,
said a
well,
little bit.
listen.
I ain't say a lot.
Yeah,
So it
then
gets a
I'ma
little
hush
better
up.
only in the sense that I can understand where he was coming from to a degree, mostly because he was talking about his friend. God, let it be Daphne. There we
Daphne,
go.
yeah.
Had to remember the name. Daphne. And I'm not going to knock or say that I do or don't agree with someone in the community because it's not my place. Everyone is entitled to their opinions, and I don't want to make anybody feel invalidated in, their views. But I understand that she was a comedian at heart and could take a joke, but some of his jokes I feel were slightly still offensive to her, even if she did find it funny. I feel like it's a double-edged sword
Right.
in the sense of it's funny, but it's also detrimental to people of our community.
Mm.
Because her jumping off the roof like that sent me right over the fucking edge.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
didn't
no.
I didn't like that joke either.
Poor
We
taste.
have a question real quick from the chat, and if feel free to answer if you want to, or anybody on the panel if they want to give an answer. But Salvador asked the
So
question: would it be better if trans people, and please, those in the chat, try to use the proper pronouns. I didn't ask because I already knew, but Black Mermaid, what pronouns do you prefer?
she, her.
And Audrey?
She and her.
All right. So please, when addressing or asking a question, try to keep in mind to use the proper pronouns. And if you want, you can answer the question. If not, we'll keep it rolling.
So to answer the question, I would definitely prefer just to use the bathroom that I feel most comfortable in, which is normally the female's bathroom, or family ones if they have them because they're like non-binaries. I'll get out. But I do. Whenever you see me, you will see me use the female bathroom. Don't even think about telling me to go to men's bathroom. I'm gonna look at you like you are upside down and crazy. Because I was like, "What are you talking about? My birth certificate says female. My license says female. What are you talking about? You're gonna look
Well,
mad stupid."
how about you, Audrey?
So
How do you feel about that, real quick?
All about the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, baby, I'll go to the women's bathroom faithfully.
period. There's no other bathroom to be.
But and I guess because I had to get comfortable in my own skin to use the female bathroom. Now, put a hindsight before I even get into the whole until it's my turn to get into the skit. I actually started transitioning this year, okay? And before I even started my transition,
Yeah, that was way too
in
big. I know.
January,
I saw it, Black. I had to back up too.
I mean,
was like,
I
God.
liked it.
Oh no, that's too close.
I just wasn't ready. I'm sorry.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to be that close. I was like, God damn, my beard too patchy for that shit.
Sorry.
All right, go ahead.
I mean, it was giving Destiny Child feel, but that's okay. To make sure for me personally, that for one, I did a lot of research, and for two, that I was naturally passing. Now I can answer that question later on when it becomes my turn.
Gotcha.
So once
Had a
I got
discussion.
comfortable, yes, once I had got comfortable in that space, I didn't feel no need to hold my head down low when using the restroom. I hold my head up high, like I'm just like one of the other girls. I go in the bathroom, I pull my underwears down, sit on this good toilet, and use the bathroom just like the rest of the girls and going about my business. There's no questions, there's no side stare, there's no none of that.
No.
Like I don't get
Why?
that. So, I blend. And, again, I will talk about that later within the show.
All right,
But no, I
real,
use a
real
blender.
quick, because they flooding in with the questions, but I still want to get y'all viewpoint. But just briefly, Corey Michael Floyd, all the way from American Media, asked, "Did any of you recognize that he was grieving?"
I
Did you
saw
recognize?
that. So I did notice that he was grieving. That's why I said some of his jokes were bad in taste, but I understood that sometimes I think comedians use comedy as a way to express themselves because it is their only, I guess, form of outlet. I don't know if that's true. We'll take it over to Curtis for that being a person in the community. I don't know if that's what y'all use as your outlets. I know
Oh,
that people
yeah.
use their
Grief.
crafts for different reasons. So, because I know that I made my original YouTube channel just for my own personal use, and that was
Actually,
my outlet.
you know what? Interesting. Now, I appreciate you asking that question. I'll just be real quick. There was somebody else that was supposed to be on the panel. She and I got into a pretty heated debate over what was tasteful in comedy, and she asked me flat out. She said, "Well, is any joke too far?" And I said, "No, because I joke about the passing of my father, and I grieve heavy about that." And she was like, "Well, I can't talk to you because you don't have a medium." But everybody, remember, once again, comedy is art, and some of us use our art to get over some really shitty points in our life. Not to excuse behavior, but to Black Murray's point that I saw that he was grieving. But continue. So that was and Audrey, did you see that he was grieving? Did you notice it in the special?
I was just trying to pay attention to the jokes. I can make sure I was on point with these questions.
She said I was trying to be ready.
Right. No, I really didn't pay attention to him grieving. If, like you said, this is how he grieves, then I get it. And there was actually somebody in the comments that actually said that he actually had a deep anger for the community because he believed the community bullied his friends to suicide. We'll get into that in a second.
Yeah, thank you. We're gonna run back. We're gonna run back to that.
Listen, for everybody, just know I'm gonna hold off on questions after this last one, and just because I really want to get the leader's opinion before we get into hold on. I'm gonna leave this question up, but we're not going to answer it right now. I want to get your opinions because I already I already see your faces. Let's get the rest of Black Mermaid's feelings on the special, and then we're gonna go right to you, Audrey. And we got Christina. She's trying to get back online. She'll be able to be audio only, but I definitely want her to be able to utilize her voice. So I'm gonna I'm not gonna ask the question, but I'm gonna take this one away for right now.
And just to let y'all know, we are also reading the chat. So if he doesn't catch a question, I'm gonna answer it when it gets to my turn anyway. So
okay, that works.
Just know I'm reading it with y'all. So
long as y'all respectful. Long as y'all respectful.
Oh, you can be disrespectful. Just be prepared for me to come out the crack of my ass.
Just be prepared for the clap back.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna come out the whole crack of my ass if you come out here sideways. You come out the side of your neck, I'm gonna come out the crack of my ass. I promise.
Real quick, Tiana, do we got your back audio? Hello? I feel like I'm on the phone. Like,
TT.
Are you there?
Oh, if I'm ready, you can be as disrespectful as possible. Can you hear me? Hello.
We listen. We can hear you too damn well.
Hello.
I don't know.
Hello.
I don't know how close you are up on that receiver, but if you could just turn down your mic just a little bit.
Girl, you over here hollering at us. I gotta pee.
Damn. Oh, listen, yo, shit, I said Jesus. Yeah. All right. Well, come on, Black Mermaid. We not remember this is supposed to be serious. We not supposed to be laughing at all now. Damn it.
Okay.
Look, Black Mermaid, and then I'm gonna get Audrey, and then I'm gonna come back to Tiana.
Okay, so to get back to what I was touching on, I did notice that he was grieving just by the way he talked about his friend. He showed an immense amount of endearment and respect for her particularly. I don't think he has a lot of it for the community as a whole. I think he's still a bit bittersweet about it because it did recently happen. Let's keep that in mind. That I don't think he's fully grieved yet. I think this is why he said it was his last special because this his Sticks and Stones special is what really sent
Yeah.
everything
Ooh.
into motion. So y'all, please don't hold him too seriously for that. You can hold him accountable for what he said because that was some bullshit. But when it comes to his friend, I do believe that he was feeling grief, which is probably another reason why he was just unapologetic as a bitch about the whole thing. Excuse my French. Because I could tell from the beginning of it, he did not care at all. And he started off by saying, "This gonna be my last one." So y'all should have known from jump it was
That
about
he was
to
gonna be
be
some
some
shit.
mess.
Now, real quick,
Because
Black Murray,
I've never heard Dave Chappelle be like,
because
I'm
I just
done.
I don't want to cut into your time. We are already 40 minutes in, and I appreciate everybody jumping in. I'm gonna go and get Audrey's opinion real quick, and then we're gonna get to Giannis. Then we're gonna double back where we could just freestyle because I want to make sure everybody kind of gets enough time to get their points in. She slays cosplay. I feel comedians joke on every community. Yes,
As they should.
we absolutely do. Now,
Equal opportunity.
you need to be able to stand on your own too and take the heat if that community comes for that ass. And I think that it was a little bit of a disparity in the closer because, like I said, he did joke on everybody for 30 minutes total. All those people that I listed before I got to the trans community was 30 minutes of his bit. The other 30 minutes was just the trans community. So, yes, when people say, oh, well, he joked on everybody, he joked on everybody in 30 minutes and then joked on the trans community for an entire 30 minutes. There's a difference. Audrey, please, how did you feel about Dave Chappelle's special, The Closer?
First of all, I had to clear my throat because I need Mr. William, Mr. Bad Guy's comment.
All right, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, bring it out.
To go ahead and address this comment before I even get on the special. See, sweetheart, there's a difference between bashing and joking. Let's go ahead and clarify that. Okay, so before you talk about any community, just have your facts. You know, unless you experience what we go through on a daily basis, our life is not to be joked on. Okay, just like Black people's life is not about needs to be joked on. Anybody's life that is a significant impact to the community should not be joked on. Now I get it. Comedy is funny. It's supposed to make light of the situation. So we get that. We're grown enough to understand that. If you can't take a joke, stay out the kitchen. If you can't take the heat, stay out of it. Period. So that's to answer your question. So I'm not even going to entitle that right now. So for me, and I already know I'm about to get a lot of backlash for this, but I personally was not offended by any of the comments, and here's why.
I think I've heard him.
Yes. What was the analogies wrong? Absolutely. First of all, you can't compare gay rights to slavery. Okay. 400 plus years.
Somebody said it. Somebody finally.
So you can't compare the two. 400 years of torture, torment, blowing up banners trying to X out our extinction versus the rights for us to actually sit at our own community's tables as well as the white man. You can't compare the two. Then to go ahead and say and comparing it to Martin Luther King, you should have wore booty shorts and a glitter crop top.
In a crop top, yeah.
Yeah, no.
And baby oil, yeah.
And baby oil. So you're trying to compare our fashion to being a whore and a stripper? I'm sorry.
Right.
That's not how our culture operates. And then goes to compare the Black LGBT community versus the Caucasian communities. And I think me and Tiana actually had a sidebar conversation where I feel like there is a distinct difference. As a community, we shouldn't be that way, but it is what it is. You know, a Caucasian counterpart holds a different standard than an African American counterpart in the community. See, we're not going to call the police when you try to square up with us. See, we're just going to go toe to toe. Because at the end of the day, we both want to go to jail. But you know,
and I can co-sign that. The worst ass whooping I ever saw was a gay man who was being bullied in school, and he beat the dog shit out of somebody.
And so we both gonna go to jail, but we gonna get our hits in. You're gonna know, you're gonna respect us, and that's how we build our respect. But you know, as soon as the Caucasian want to get squared up, Becky, I'm about to call 911. I'm fear for my life. No, ma'am. See, we
they're
fear
gay
for our
until it's
life.
convenient. That's what I like to call it.
Exactly. You're queer, like Dave Chappelle said, until it's convenient for you. And we're not here for that. Okay. So we're gonna stop by that and then go to the next one. Now, I understood the bathroom concept. I really did, and coincide with the baby. We're gonna get to that in a minute.
Oh Lord,
That's
not
really
the
what
bad.
Listen, but that was his connection, and I
That
caught
was his
it.
connection, and I caught that. And so, as a trans woman, when it came to the law being passed in my state that we would have to use our naturally born restrooms, I get where he was coming from. I myself would feel uncomfortable to pull my dick out in front of a stall, in front of a whole heterosexual cis man. And you know, I guess for me, if I'm having that God-given right to use the women's bathroom, and this is just my opinion, I want to use the women's bathroom. I
Just
don't
a
want to
note,
use
I haven't used a urinal in like 3 years.
Yeah, me either. So, you know, I mean, I would have naturally went to the stalls anyway, but it just goes to show that I think um our community was so just tacked on to how he was trying to compare the two that it just kind of, for me, went over a lot of people's heads. And I actually agree with Antonio. He was actually attacking the white
trans. Yeah.
community. Like
It
the
really
whole
was
community
the
within
white people.
itself.
He was so serious
Like
when he said, "I don't like
he
white people."
was, and he clearly stated, he's like, this is not to attack, you know, the black people. I love the gays, I love the trans, honey. This is about white people. Like, get the
Now
difference.
wait a minute, Audrey. How did you? Okay, so because I don't want to
Go
see,
ahead.
I don't want to come
Go
off
ahead.
bias. I don't want to come
Go
off
ahead.
bias because of me, but
Yes.
I picked up on that. I picked up on that. He was making it about not so much the black trans community or the black gay community. He was just saying white hurt feelings carry more weight than black death. And he went all the way around the motherfucking Mulberry Bush to make the point and hurt some
he
people
did.
along. But to me, to that point, and this is the whole point why I read that long list of people he offended, because if, as me as a joke writer, if I come in and said, I'm going to make the point that we can offend and piss off everybody, but you still won't do anything about black bodies, I'm going to make a list of people. I'm going to say Asian people, white women, black people, this, that. I'm going to put every marginalized group, and then I'm going to make a joke up about each one and go down the line. And that's how he wanted to make his point, in my opinion, as well. But
Exactly. And so going to the bathroom.
I hear you in the background.
We waiting for you, Tia. We waiting. So that's why I said, let me go ahead and
Girl, that growl was severe.
That growl was real.
I disagree. I did not see that shit that way.
We know you about to get the whole.
You about to get you. We're gonna let you have it in a minute, boo.
Am I the one that's in between? Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
So, again, to get into the bathroom stall, I can see again the uncomfortability, the insecurity. You know, the torture that you will put someone in the trans community in that space to torture them. Basically, you know, that's not right. And so, how he compared the baby shooting somebody in Greensboro versus
Walmart.
gay right
In the Walmart.
In the Walmart, right? And
same Walmart you can't use the bathroom in.
Exactly. So he was like, see how big of a, you know, a difference is. Like, yes, our rights weigh more weight, but you need to also charge the person that killed somebody in a Walmart that also bashed the gay community. So if you want to bash him for talking about gay people, you need to bash him about killing a black man in Walmart. So it's like I get all of this. It was just timing, analogies, and representation of everything. Exactly.
And misinformation, because he did have some misinformation. I'm going to go to Tiana next because I know she's waiting in the wings. But before we bring Tiana, I want to give my cisgen folks a little bit of an education. First and foremost, what does that even mean? Oh, wrong one. Sorry. I had a whole thing about what cisgendered mean, but of course, in true Kurt fashion, rude. Anyway, I'm going to explain what cisgender means. It just means you identify as the gender that you were born with. So I was born as a male and I identify as a man. Go ahead, Black Mermaid.
Can we say assigned at birth? Because that's what I like to use.
Okay.
That's
All right.
assigned at birth.
Assigned at birth. Okay, I agree with that. And that is actually the definition that the Oxford Dictionary and dictionary.com and the 3 other references used is said assigned at birth. So whatever the doctors assign you to, if you agree with it, you are cisgendered.
Correct.
Period. That was something that I, as a cisgendered man, never knew. I always thought it was just what you were born as. Identity never played a role until I've had more conversations and gained more education. Because I do believe that sometimes you do need to branch out and educate yourself before you make comments about another community. Period. Now that was me. Tiana, are you there?
Hold on, boom. Hold on. Before I gracefully exit off and let the queen have her throne, I just have to answer this because I'm trying to be cute for the public.
Wait, which one? Which one?
Will Mr. Bad Guy?
Oh yeah, you want?
Today?
I purposely did not bring his comments up, but if you want me to,
just
girl,
briefly.
F your ideology, respectfully.
Yes. So we're not trying to say we're controlling any comment on what they said. That's not what we're saying because again, he definitely tackled everybody in each community. What we're saying is, for one, have the education and insight and the facts before you try to make a joke or an assumption of a community that you have nothing about. Now, again, he did this versus his experience. So everybody's experience and opinions is their opinions. Mm-hmm. However, again, if you want to talk about a community, have your facts. That's it.
That's it.
And we don't care about you being comfortable because, honey, we fought to be comfortable and we fought for our rights at this table. So we don't give a damn because we're going to fight back anyway.
I don't care if my existence makes you uncomfortable. That's not my responsibility.
Period.
And for those that that just heard my ass backward explanation, this is the one that I needed. Most people who are assigned female at birth identify as girls or women, and most people who are assigned male at birth identify as boys and men. These people are cisgendered. That is from Planned Parenthood. And if you were born a human being and are now a robot, you're usually RoboCop. All right, so moving on to that was my best way to kind of explain to folks without niggas acting stupid.
And please
all right,
don't confuse that with cis. When we say cis, we do not mean that cis.
Got you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead, queen.
Yana, where you at? Are you with us?
Okay.
All right. You have the floor.
No, I apologize in advance because I just purchased this microphone today and there's a slight delay. So as I'm talking to you, it is literally going to start like half a minute later.
Okay.
So.
Well, we'll fill the air for that half a minute, and then when we hear you start talking, we'll just we'll stop.
The other thing is I can't control the volume because there's not a volume button on this piece. So
you're fine, baby.
We'll figure it out.
Screaming at us.
So how about you just, when you can, if you hear this, just give us your piece, and then when you're done talking, we'll know. We just gonna patiently wait.
Oh my God! Wait. Marie is funny. I'm sorry.
Dave Chappelle's always been disgusting with it. We've been through this. We've been through this when comedy reached its peak for Black comedians in the 90s. And the way that I felt when I watched this shit, I knew that once I cut on the television and I Googled and I TV'd with the rest of anybody else that was subscribed to that bullshit, I knew that once I went into public spaces that they were going to take that comedy as truth. And there's always some sort of truth to comedy. And so when you go in front of people as a trans individual, what I had experienced is that a lot of them were thinking that the jokes, because they had a certain type of truth to it, were valid. So they used that to explain the limited knowledge that they had on the subject of transness. Now, I, as a child, didn't know that I was trans. I just knew that I felt differently. And I later learned that the reason I felt differently was because I knew that I was a woman. There was no question about it for me. So it's interesting to me to see that after all of the specials that he's released, and all of the trouble that he's received for his charged information in regards to LGBTQIA plus individuals, that here we are again, and now we're having the show, and now we're having this conversation in regards to it, baby. That's like, how much does this need to go on? How is it that you seem to come across to a lot of individuals as speaking up for Black issues, and then at the same time you can't seem to do a simple goddamn fucking Google search on information concerning trans topics? How the fuck does that shit happen? So you seem to be well informed on Black issues, but not the trans community. And then to turn around and make matters worse, my thing when Audrey was talking about him what was it? Speaking only to white individuals. I didn't take it that way. The reason I didn't take it that way was because before he ever even mentioned that his shit was for white individuals, he had already brought up how trans pussy is a different type of pussy and it hit different, bitch. So I just feel like at the end of the day, how am I supposed to know which trans pussy you talking about if you don't let the whole world know that you talking about white trans pussy hitting different, bitch? I like, explain the shit to me, because bitch, my pussy wet the sheets out the motherfucking bed like white, Black, and any other bitch if you hit the spot the way you need to hit the motherfucking spot, bitch. So I'm confused. So please educate me on where the fuck you, Dave Chappelle, and the rest of y'all motherfuckers who have ignorant ass views on how trans women are just another type of woman. How the fuck are y'all lost in the South? Bitch, you want an education? You can't afford to get a higher education? Talk to a trans individual, bitch. Have conversation, open dialogue. Like, the lack of your education does not excuse any of the bullshit and will never ever do so. So bitch, explain it to me, because bitch, I'm lost in your ignorance, and I don't have time to figure out why stupid is stupid, bitch. That's my time is precious to me, bitch. I ain't got time to be doing all of that. So y'all explain it to me. Explain to me why transness has you so lost, and what questions it is that you have in regards to me or any other woman, especially a Black trans woman at that, on our transness. Bitch, please.
So, and I hate that there's a delay, because I really want to have a more in-depth conversation about everything you just said. But hopefully you can follow through real quick, because me and Tiana actually, behind the scenes leading up to the show, had a very long, damn near 2-3 day conversation over everything in preparation for the show. And she educated me on a shit ton of stuff that I never knew about. And I definitely am more educated. But go ahead, Black Mermaid.
I just want y'all to know that there's a reason why the trans community is so hot and quick to just debunk everything that everybody says. And I'm going to put it down to just one particular law that is still in place, and it is the trans panic law. I hate that motherfucking law with a burning ass passion.
Well, can you educate us? What is it? What is it?
And
what
I'm
does it say?
going to let y'all know exactly what this law is. It's the dumbest law in existence. It is a defense law at that for anyone who does any malicious intent to a trans person after finding out that that person is not who they thought they were. I should put it like that. So for them, yes, trans panic. I am so serious. Y'all can go Google it. There's a law that says if you find out that someone is trans, that you are okay to literally panic and kill them. That's pretty much what it is. And
Well, now to that point.
Oh no, ma'am.
I was about to listen. Hold on. Hold on. I saw, and you know, education has to happen. So I'm about to set the context before we get into that comment, because I want to be very careful about where we this is about Dave Chappelle.
I'm sorry, did I say what?
But what I want to say is a lot of people feel as though the trans community should divulge information to partners. Hold on, hear me out. To partners that they engage. I'm being very careful about how I word this.
Go ahead.
They feel there is a large majority of people who feel like the trans community needs to divulge information to people who want to engage with them sexually because they put themselves in danger if an individual makes a decision to engage in sexual acts with inaccurate or how do I put this? If without all the information that they may need. Now, it does not justify putting their hands on anybody. I don't care what it is. Unless you're defending yourself physically against somebody, you shouldn't be putting your hands on people. For those that say things like trans people can't act like victims and oppressors. And for those individuals who feel like, hey, if you ain't tell that man that you transitioned, he has every right to physically lash out to you. What do you say to those individuals?
You ain't tell me you had a small dick. Why the fuck should I tell you what I got going on? I'm so sorry. Is that not what you wanted? I'm so sorry.
It's a complete fuck off for me. I said because y'all don't tell us if y'all rapists. Y'all don't tell us if y'all
No, bitch. Let me hold on. No. Let me tell you what I say to those individuals. Let me tell you what I say to those individuals. Because I've literally been in situations where I have told somebody and I have also not told somebody. So let me tell you what happens when I don't tell somebody. Let me tell you something. I have not made a decision on whether your penis can fucking penetrate my motherfucking body. So, bitch, if I come to you and I give you some sickening fucking head, you take them blessings, you receive them, and you move on with your fucking life. I do not have to explain anything to you because I had already made the decision that whether I have a vagina or I don't have a vagina, you will not be penetrating it. So, bitch, you get this head, you get this sweet conversation, you get this wonderful speaking voice, and I just carry myself so effervescently and eloquently. Bitch, and you get fucking served, and you move the fuck on because there's a line, sweetie. There's a fucking line, and I don't have the time, bitch. It don't look good today, and it don't look good tomorrow. You did, nah, ma'am.
But you know what? She's not wrong at all.
Right? I'm not to say, well, baby,
I y'all all the fantasy, and y'all will eat it the fuck up, and then be mad. But you never came at me correctly. Like you'll be in the club, riding up on me. I'm giving you all of it. Yeah. You ain't care then. You didn't care nothing. I'm in your face. Yeah, I don't come here often. Boom, bam, whatever the fuck, and. That's it, and you be so ready. But
hold on.
I
have to wait, Audrey. I'm gonna let you speak, and then I have to give you a counterpoint that somebody said to me today that was very pertinent, and it made me think before y'all go off. Yes, y'all serving all the tea. Yes, everybody gets excited when you saying things, but when I give you this retort, I would love to know how you feel. Audrey, say your piece, and then I'm gonna give you the retort.
Oh, what was my piece about this whole situation?
Yeah, because I know you wanted to jump in there, but before I give my retort,
I'm gonna keep it nice, sweet, to the point. Not a lot of people disclose a lot of information, regardless if it's male or female. Disclose nothing. So why should it be me to tell you who I am? Because I actually had a situation where I was dating a cisgendered heterosexual man. I consider myself heterosexual. I love men, period. If you got a dick, a trans man, I don't give a damn. If you a man, period. So he asked me, he was like, so am I gay? And I honestly answered that question, no, you're not. Here is why. What do you see? When you look in front of me, what do you see? Me too. I said, but what do you see physically? I said, you see a woman, right? I said, because if a man was standing right beside you and had the same exact thing or whatever, you wouldn't be attracted, correct? He said, no. I said, so problem solved. There's your answer. So no, I don't feel like I have to disclose anything. I don't think people, until you get comfortable in that situation, in that safe space, for me to disclose anything to you, then that's it. But I shouldn't have to automatically tell you what I am or what I shouldn't have to. Anybody. That's gross.
Okay. Black Mermaid, before you jump in there, I'm gonna give you don't give me that face. I'm gonna give you the counterpoint.
Bitch, and another motherfucking thing. Let me explain something to y'all because maybe y'all are not fucking aware. Let me tell you something. Bitch, the vaginas that we out here purchasing vaginas. Okay.
They cost more than some of y'all's cars.
Let me explain something to y'all because y'all ignorant as fuck. I have been approached by so many motherfuckers who just assume that because I'm trans and because I look the way that I look, that I must have a vagina already. Do you see this photo on the screen? This is what I look like coming out of my mama's coochie. Now, I'm not trying to get a cookie to receive that type of shit. There's something in our community called passability, and I have been informed that I'm a very passable person.
Damn it.
I was a passable person. Let me carry her thing. She said passable person, which means that y'all probably walking in the day like we'll never know. And there's a shit ton of them. So come
$50,000. Then you talking about going overseas to pay for the pussy. The pussy probably be 6,000, 12,000, 11,000, bitch, whatever. But then you talking about your safety. Then you talking about your safety to receive a plastic surgery operation overseas, bitch. Okay, so you're making the assumption that I, as a trans woman, just have all of this motherfucking money, and with capitalism, I'm not sitting in a place of poverty, and that I just have this vagina. Okay, so let me tell you something. While I'm sitting over here with the cutest 2-inch clit you've ever fucking seen, let me explain something to you. The level of give a fuck that I do not have, bitch. There is no vagina here. And I only fucks with motherfuckers who understand that. And I only fucks with motherfuckers who know that I'm trans these days, bitch. But when I was fucking with motherfuckers who I didn't disclose the information to, guess what? I didn't feel no type of way about it, because you're not about to sit here and bust into my $50,000 coochie for shit. Because, bitch, if I had it, I wasn't going to give it to you unless I fucking wanted to. So do I have to disclose whether or not I have a vagina because you feel it's important? No, bitch, because when I get the vagina, that is a discussion that I have with the plastic surgeon and myself. That's it. It does not involve you at all. I do not owe you an explanation for my genitalia. And guess what? A regular cis woman who has issues with her genitalia does not owe you an explanation for her genitalia. So you telling
her, okay? Let me tell you, you're telling her that just because she got to purchase hers, that she got to disclose it.
I was going to I was going to retort, but I'm afraid to now. I have to. No. I absolutely fucking have to, because it would not be the King's Court if I don't ask the questions of the people.
I actually want to hear it now.
Yo, so then, in a sense, do you then take away the choice of who you choose to partner with when making those kind of decisions? Do you, by you not disclosing, are you taking away their choice to make a decision, an informed decision?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Well, okay. All right, hold on. I'm gonna go to inverse. I'm gonna end with you, Black Mermaid, because I know you're gonna give me the heat. But Audrey, do you feel like that takes away the other person's ability to make an informed decision in their personal choice?
First off, I like to ask questions. I like to know what somebody's mindset is before I even converse any further. So when I ask you what you feel about the trans community, or what is your type of tea or person you like to involve yourself with, that makes me understand either to fucks with you or not to fucks with you. And then I don't really have anything else to say, because after that, if you fucks with it, then we're rocking. If you don't fuck with it, I'll gladly exit stage.
You have 2 questions or 3? I have just for my, because listen, this is the first time I'm also meeting them, so I also be like, do y'all have 2? Because we all have the same type of questions. Because what y'all don't understand is we have to go navigate through the men. Before y'all even get to the genitalia, we have to navigate through the men as it is.
Yeah, Maria said motherfuckers won't even tell you if the genitalia got warts or crabs, let alone what they got.
Period.
Like, y'all over here talking about us gotten to disclose, but y'all don't disclose not a goddamn thing. Y'all don't tell us the shit. They don't tell you nothing. This is supposed to be about Dave Chappelle. But I mean, you asked us the question, so now we're carrying.
No, you're right, Blackbird. This is what I said. I said coming in, I'm gonna stay on track.
But I mean, technically,
anyway, like I was saying though, before I forget, because I will forget. There's questions that we have to ask the men that we fuck with before you even get to the bomb pussy, the bomb head, whatever the fuck the case may be. We have to disclose or figure out who's coming to us is there a tranny chaser? Are they fetishizing? Are they doing all of this stuff just to see
That's
what's
true.
in there? Because they'll ask the question not to see if you have one, but to see if you don't. And
Yeah,
y'all, and that's
you are
shit that
very
y'all
much.
wouldn't even
Do y'all experience that? Like, do a lot
every
fetishize
goddamn
thing?
day? Fuck. My DMs is filled with it. Cut it out. No, every day. I get unnecessary dick pictures on a regular. I probably
I'm
got
trying
some
to
in my
get
DM right
Tiana
now.
back online, but I feel bad. Okay, all right. So, whew, oh Lord, there's so much that we have to cover.
Okay, no, period. We talking about fetishism. Let's talk about fetishism. I am sitting over here as a biracial individual. That's a fetish. As a trans woman, that's a fetish. Bitch, I'm tall. That's a fetish. Like every time I walk out in public, bitch, fetishism down the house.
If you got pretty toes,
Okay. Hold on. Hold the fuck on. So what I need y'all. So what I need y'all to do for 5 seconds. Black Murray, shit.
I'm sorry.
This is what we gonna do. I have to play because I want to give Violet Gray video because she was supposed to be on the panel. She didn't get the opportunity to be on the panel. I want to play the first half of it, which is about 10 minutes. That gives y'all the opportunity to go get some refreshments, get your ring lights, fix some phones, get a little bit more liquor in your cup, whatever y'all gonna do. You the viewer, y'all can enjoy the interview. Ladies, if you can sit and enjoy the interview or you can go and come back. It's about 10 minutes long. Go ahead, Audrey.
Before you even get to that video, after this video, we're gonna have to give you a definition of what training is. Because obviously,
I don't even
is that even a problem? But that's a derogatory term, correct?
Nah, don't you dare call me that. I will fuck you up.
Oh yeah, I wasn't going to look. Kurt wasn't going to call you shit, but your God-given name.
No,
well, not your God-given. Whatever goddamn name you tell me to call. That's what I. You know what? Let me play this fucking video before I talk myself into trouble.
Curtis done talked himself into a hole. Can't get out.
I done talked myself into the bullshit. I was like, wait, but not. Audrey, can I play the video now before I get in trouble?
Thank you.
We'll show y'all what a train chaser is after this.
All right, yeah. Period. It's your boy King Kurt live. Y'all already know we're back at it again, and we're touching on the topics and subjects that are popular in culture. And I got the opportunity to sit down with a super dope comedian. Had the opportunity to see and learn about her stand-up comedy from BlurredCon and amongst the multitude of different things she's done across the spectrum. We're going to sit down, we're going to talk to her, and we're going to find out some things that she's got going on and get a little bit into the Dave Chappelle Netflix special, The Closer. Violet, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm super excited. First and foremost, Violet Gray, you're a comedian, correct?
That is correct. Mm-hmm.
And tell me a little bit about your comedy. What would you say your comedy falls under?
I would say that my comedy falls under 2 categories. One, my experiences as a person of color who is not cisgender. And the other is I grew up a geek into fantasy, sci-fi, and role-playing games. I currently dungeon master 3 Dungeons and Dragons games a week.
Hey, you one of my people.
right. And it is my experiences as a Black nerd as well. And also a little bit of socio-political commentary.
Oh, listen. See, I knew you were a comedian, but I didn't know you were blurty too. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, because one of the reasons why I needed Violet Gray on this particular episode of the King's Court is because as comedians, and y'all already know your boy got a joke or two. And I done had a joke or two most of my life. So I understand this comedy game, but it's always a mutual respect when I get to sit down and talk with another comedian, because though we are still who we are as people, no matter what your orientation is or your race, there's something a little bit different when you're a comedian. It's just a little.
Yeah.
Violet, you get what I mean?
Yeah, and it's something I don't think a lot of people who aren't comedians understand.
Exactly. And if you sit in these circles and You sit amongst it, and this is not to excuse any behavior or material, but I need everybody to keep in mind that comedians are artists, and our comedy is art. So we keep it in that construct.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the things I would like to say about that specifically is that one thing that separates comedy from other art forms is that the stakes for failure are very, very high. If Beethoven drops a symphony that people aren't feeling, he's not going to get protested by the violin playing community, you know?
You ain't never lied.
Yeah, so I guess we'll get into this a little bit more later, but one thing I do wish would happen is that comedians would be allowed to fail. Because comedians are going to miss the mark. This is going to seem like a tangent, but it's not.
No. Listen, this is the space for you to talk because I put it like this. I'm going to serve you up the question and then you just go. That works?
Yes,
all right. So y'all already know it's the main question. It's the whole reason that we're having this live feed. By the time y'all see it, it'll be live, but this was pre-recorded. But Violet Gray.
Yes.
How did you feel about Dave Chappelle's stand-up special, The Closer?
Okay, so I'm going to reference a famous comedian, Dave Chappelle. A while ago, a couple years ago, do you remember the guy named Michael Richards? He was
yes. I remember my nigga.
Right. So a long time ago, Dave Chappelle addressed Michael Richards, and he talks about how he had these warring, conflicted feelings as both a black man and a comedian. Because on the one hand, he was like, Kramer, you racist bastard. But on the other hand, he was like, man, this dude's having a bad set. Don't let him break you, Kramer. And so,
I remember.
Right. Do you remember that? And
yeah,
so I expected to watch the Dave Chappelle special with the same sort of conflict going on, like understanding that as an artist, you need to express yourself while at the same time not being a cisgender person and analyzing what his expressions meant for me. And my conclusion to about what Dave Chappelle said is, I think Dave Chappelle is at least trying to come from a place of empathy. But as far as what one believes, there is a lot that he gets wrong. And the main thing that Dave Chappelle gets wrong is I don't think that he's truly analyzed how privilege works, because one of the things that he comes back to again and again is they're willing to do this for trans people, but they're not willing to do this for black people. And he routinely tries to establish this sort of privilege hierarchy.
Right.
But I don't think that's how privilege works. Privilege is situational. These advantages and disadvantages coexist. They exist simultaneously.
Right.
So, for example, when he said, look at how good their movement is going.
Yeah, I thought
maybe
that was
black people need to do. And I can't help but think that while he's saying, look at how poorly they treat us black people compared to those trans people, at the same time, he forgets that sometimes the black person and the trans person are the same person.
Right.
And while he's saying, look at how well they treat them as opposed to us, meanwhile, there's a black trans person getting kicked out of their own household, getting beat up in their own neighborhood, you know, and I think that he misses that mark. And a lot of it also, I will say that there are some things that he gets factually wrong. Like when he says they came after J.K. Rowling just for a tweet she made.
Right.
That's not actually true. They loved J.K. Rowling, and she had to make misstep after misstep.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
Like
how Charlie Murphy said she a habitual line stepper.
Yes, exactly. There were a couple things that she did. And so Dave Chappelle.
I love how you said that. You like, whew.
I will say this. There are some things that he said that would offend other people that made me laugh out loud. Yeah. And maybe it's because I'm a comedian and I was like, I shouldn't be laughing.
It's the I should have laughed at that. Like,
right. But I think in general, people find outrage to be easy and nuance to be hard. And Dave Chappelle is a big example of that. People always come for him. I think he is both attacked and defended more hard than he should be. Wait, I can't hear you.
Oh, no. I said that is a new perspective. I agree with you. It's kind of like a mid ground. He definitely shouldn't be as attacked as hard as he has been.
Yes, but at the same time, I think he's someone who's trying to learn about the things that he's talking about, but he's not done yet. He's not done learning these things yet. I'll give you an example. There's a point in his stand-up where he hammers on the fact, he says, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. There's a point in his stand-up where he hammers on the fact that he says, sex is real. Sex is real. And we cannot pretend that sex isn't real. The problem is literally nobody is making an opposing argument to that. If anything, trans people are super aware of how real sex is. In fact, that is what gender dysphoria is based on. How I feel versus the body that surrounds me.
Right.
And it feels like he's trying to critique a series where when he's only on episode 2.
Like, you got to get to the end, bro, before you.
Right. Literally nobody is saying that. Now, what we are making the argument for is that gender, which is how we present to the world, while a construct, does matter. The nitty-gritty, the characteristics of a person's sex, like their XX chromosomes or their XY chromosomes. I don't open a jar or go to a job interview and use my chromosomes. I use my face. I use my appearance. I use my persona. You can say you have XY chromosomes, and it was like, that's true, but what does that have to do with me using the bathroom? You know?
Right.
Yes. And so I feel like Dave Chappelle, he definitely has some work to do. I also think that he's at least trying to come from a place of empathy. I do feel like he sort of ended with this sort of persecution complex. He was like when he talks about his trans friend who died.
Right.
Which is terrible. And the internet can be a terrible place, and that's why, because there's no room for nuance or complexity.
Yeah.
You're either all. And the reason that people get so defensive about this is because we, as an internet culture, tend to have a very all or nothing approach. And I'll just wrap up with this. When he said, the worst part about what he said was when he said that I am on Team Turf.
Yeah. So, okay, hold on, Violet. Now I'm gonna jump in there.
Okay.
As a comedian, that's where I almost cut the special off.
Right.
Now, mind you, Space Jews was bad.
Right.
this is you know, the Me Too movement, all of that. But when and I said it's because I don't think he fully understands what he's saying when he says I am Team Turf. It is
absolutely not.
It just like how he used feminism. He's like, yeah, well, I apply to that. Okay, yeah, by the definition. But to be Team Turf is to say, because you're a trans woman, you do not deserve the same equality.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like when he said I'm on Team Turf, I was like, I had two minds of that. Because on the one hand, I was like, he can't really know what that means.
I said the same thing.
Because TERFs have been known to call people's place of work and out them as trans. TERF people have been trying to stop trans people from pee. What's going on in the UK right now is making it harder for trans people to do that. And I don't think that if you presented those issues to him separately, that he would agree with any of that. So Team TERF, and then on the other hand, I was like, is this my bias? Would I extend the same patience if a white man started talking about black people and then said, I'm Team Nazi?
Yep.
Like, would I give him
Violet? We had the same mind. I said that I used that equivalent. I said, if a white man said in a stand-up comedy special while complaining about black people, I'm Team Nazi. Whoo!
Right. Like, and how much credit should I give him? Like, should I say, well, what would I say of that white comic? Well, he must not know what that means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, and we know I wouldn't. I'd be whooping his ass. No, I'm sorry.
Right. Kramer.
Yeah. we here on that one.
I will acknowledge that the trans versus TERF thing is not a conversation that we've had in the public eye as much as we've had the Nazi white supremacy conversation. That's I will admit that's true. I do think that he's still a good joke writer. There were some things that that he said that from a comics perspective, I was like, that's good. That's good. I like that. But where he is on the issues, he's still an open micer politically. He's a veteran.
Yeah.
He's a veteran comic, but in the socio-political, he's as green as Daphne was.
Listen, no. Seriously. I appreciate Dave's bravado. I'll say that. I appreciate the bravado, but I think it's misplaced. And just that you have to be more informed. See, political comedy is a lot different than just regular stand-up comedy. Like Trevor Noah, you can't be funny and inaccurate.
Right. Absolutely. Like if he was doing 5 minutes on airplane food, he's not going to get protested by the people who work at Southwest.
Exactly.
And our peanuts are nutritious.
And his jokes wouldn't adversely affect the lives of the people.
Nobody would start beating up stewardesses if he went in on Southwest Airlines.
Yeah, we just want to beat up the stewardesses just because we are on Southwest. No, I'm just any stewardess out there, please. I'm just joking. I don't want no problems.
Yeah, they'll cut you.
Can I not hear him? Okay, so it's not just me.
It's not just you, baby.
Artist, baby, we can't hear you, baby. Come on back.
Oh, that was definitely. I gotta unmute me. I'm over here talking shit.
Surely is.
I was like, y'all came back. Y'all faces was already on tilt. So there's a couple of things that we're gonna get to back to the live version, and we'll wait for Tiana to unmute her mic when she gets a chance. But what I'll say is, we'll get the definition of it. How do you say a tranny chaser, and that's the term that was used, not Kurt saying it.
Oh, it's unmuted. Let's go.
It's already in the chat.
Okay, because I was about to say Kurt didn't say that term. I just want to put that out there. Also, I want to talk about the term TERF. And if before we get to the tranny chaser,
and I got the definition.
I'm so uncomfortable saying that continuously. But
you
for
don't have to
TERF,
keep saying it. Just say TC for short.
Oh, thank you, because I don't be knowing all the acronyms. But
or you can just say chaser. It's okay.
All right. So for those that don't understand the term TERF, I want to get you a definition term. TERF is used to describe cisgender women who self-identify as feminists who are opposed to including transgender women in spaces they reserve for people who are assigned female at birth. This is because they believe trans women are men, and since men cannot coexist with their feminist ideologies, they exclude them from their beliefs and support. In fact, they often believe that they should be denied rights and sometimes advocate for harm against trans people. If you need a famous example of such, J.K. Rowling, that's a very famous tweet that she put out there.
Oh, you mean denying trans women a seat at the table of womanhood, the same way that they deny Black women a seat at the table of feminist conversations because they saw Black women as 3/4 some motherfucker? Bitch, please.
3/4.
Yeah, that same one. Okay, so help me out here. Dave Chappelle on a major platform like Netflix, standing up, being as he said, as many consider the GOAT of comedy, looking out into the crowd and saying, "I am Team TERF." In the interview that I had with Violet, we had likened that to Donald Trump when he said he spoke out to the Proud Boys. Their membership increased exponentially because he gave them a greater platform, a bigger platform. As a matter of fact, I just want to say this. The term TERF is so inflammatory that even just a clip.
But I compare this whole thing to the way that Trump spoke to his people in the audiences during fucking group gatherings or whatnot. Because, bitch, at the end of the day, bitch, the second he said something negative about anybody that happened to attend the situation, the entire crowd went and then turned and attacked on that person. Like, bitch, when y'all gonna understand that words have weight, period.
They got power.
Period.
Well, no, and that is the whole point. Words do carry major weight, and we do have to be cognizant of the words we use. That term was so inflammatory. But here's my question to the panel, because Violet caught so much heat from just a 60-second clip. I put out a 60-second promo clip of that interview, and this is what she got on Instagram. It's the same weirdo that was in the chat tonight.
Well,
not
surprising.
I didn't put two and two together, but one of the comments that she got was, so society must come to this ideology of you are a bad person. Interesting, compare Dave Chappelle to Donald Trump is truly laughable. They have no idea what they started. Dave Chappelle was trying to bring peace. See, it don't work because now you crucify him. Now people will not have any fear or hold back on telling you how they really feel. Besides, it was your community that killed Daphne. Oh, it gets deep.
So that's how you feel in them comments. I even see. Listen, had you showed me this,
but you don't want to hold that responsibility. You have the Q people that don't like. I'm assuming you meant queer.
Nah, let me speak to this.
Hold on. No. Let me finish.
So you think that every single trans individual is held responsible for the way that some trans individuals? You know what, bitch? Let me tell you something. It is very interesting to me how.
Oh, and that might be the okay. Now, just give me a second. Let me finish because there's two messages I got to put out before I let y'all go in. Okay, you have the Q people that don't like the trans community, and let's not forget Trump's people that are everywhere. You're doing this is going to make other communities turn against. Mark my words. The world is definitely watching. Tomorrow is the 20th, the great walkout, right? Let's see how that will work out. Popcorn in hand. Dave, you should have never. This is the part that got me. Dave, you should have never been compassionate towards this community. Look at him. Then hold on. Now that was from a man, a cisgendered man, towards Violet Gray. This is what his comments to her. Now this is from a trans woman to Violet.
Did she say the word traitor? Girl, okay.
Oh, listen, this was from a trans woman on Violet's page, personal page. She says, okay, so you must be defending it. She basically asked, she had put out a YouTube video that said, hey, watch the video, and then you get my viewpoints on how I feel about Dave Chappelle. And she flat out asked her, she said, were you defending them? And she said, hey, why don't you watch the video and then you get a full idea of how I feel about it? She said, okay, so you won't answer, basically. You must be defending it. So fuck you then, traitor. I've heard enough trans people watch it and be hurt by it. Only 2 haven't, and both their excuses were essentially, it's okay to be transphobic if you punch up on white people more. Fuck that noise. Glad you never made it to my parties. Don't know what the fuck is wrong with you to go against your own community. Seems like some sort of bias centrism. Fucking gross and disgusting.
Y'all got a whole lot to say behind some keyboards. I'm just saying.
Now,
girl,
for anybody that wants to speak on the term TERF and the varying responses from both sides of the spectrum, because those were 2 very extreme responses. Go ahead, Audrey. Go off.
William, after Audrey.
Yes, baby. Okay, so listen. The whole term TERF for me is that it's kind of hypocritical, for one, because it's those cisgender women that pushes us gay kids out. Let's make that very clear. It's those cisgendered women that half of them can't have children. Okay, it's those cisgender women that kick us out of their house. Okay, that beats us, that allow their husbands or the step parents molest or rape or put harm to us. So for you to tell us that we can have equal rights as for you, that is kind of belittling and degrading to us, because we uplift, we hold weight, we encourage, and we, blossom the cisgender women. It's the same community that betrays and try to torture us, or to have the cisgendered men torture us. So it's kind of contradicting. And so for him to even say he's Team TERF, but then try to elaborate and try to low-key misinform and educate our community is a walking contradiction within itself. But we're not even going to get on that. So it's outrageous to me how someone can speak on a community that they don't know, especially the all right cisgender men. Anybody that doesn't have any inkling to know anything about this. We already got 3 strikes against us as it is. Okay, we already Black, we already trans, and we already not accepted. So we already have those strikes against us to build what we have. So yes, we are going to feel entitled. We are going to feel outraged, and we are going to feel all these feelings because you don't have to go through the experience or the turmoil or the rape or the suicide or the depression or any mental thing that you have to go through in our daily walks. So until you get that understanding, you're never going to know. That's just like, I can't even speak about being white. And yes, I have white in me, but I can't speak about that because I don't know. Why would I speak on something that I don't know? And that's it.
Black Mermaid or Tiana?
I'm gonna let Tiana go because I know she just itching.
She is.
I'm waiting for her to unmute it. One of the things that I do want to say until Tiana does unmute her mic, I'll wait for her to do that. Also take into account that Black non-cisgendered women are murdered at an exponential rate, and typically is at the hands of other Black cisgendered men. So when we start talking about racism in community, statistically, the biggest threat to Black non-cisgendered women are Black cisgendered men. And that's just a caveat to bring up, because a lot of times, I mean, Dave Chappelle was absolutely making the point about white supremacy and that subgroup, but too much to Tiana's point, where she's like, when you don't make that distinction till the very end, then all it sounds like is giving the go-ahead for people to either deny rights or feel justified for the denial of rights, or just not recognizing your choice to live as you choose to live. And sometimes people have to take a step back and mind your fucking business. That's always been my adage. You minding your business is absolutely free. All right, there we go. I was waiting on you, T. I was going to try to talk until you came on. So let me know. I know it'll kick in at some point.
You know, my favorite statement is mind the business.
Okay, I just needed to breathe for a second. You know, this microphone got a delay, child. Like it's a lot going on over here. But baby, let me tell y'all something. Like it just blows my mind that some people have all of these opinions on transness, but don't have any questions. Don't have a perspective from any previous information that they've looked up. They just come from a certain type of a place, like, oh, trans people are so oppressed. Bitch, it's minority community. Like, the fuck do you mean? Like, and let's go into this third situation. So you talking about how Dave Chappelle compared a situation to how a Black woman could not sit in a place of discussing their perspective on feminism simply because they were Black. Because why? Because they were like 3/5 a person at the time. So of course they weren't going to ask the Black woman her perspective on womanhood. Now here we are, 2021, and you don't want to ask the trans woman who's also considered a woman. And let me let you in on some shit. I and everybody else within this community, we are all considered women, whether you want us to be or not, bitch. By the time you sit in a therapist's office and really ask the question, is a trans woman really considered an actual woman? Bitch, the question is yes. So it doesn't matter how much you fight back. It doesn't matter what your personal opinions are on it. It has already been confirmed by medical community, mental health community, bitch, all of the communities that motherfucking matter. And let's not forget that they did scientific studies, brain scans on everybody, women, children, men, everybody who recognized as trans, and found out that there are individuals who light up in the brain, baby, as the gender that they identify as, or the combination of both. Because again, we do have the non-binary individuals, which is a whole other topic of discussion. Because baby, when non-binary individuals call themselves trans, woo, bitch, woo, bitch, baby. So y'all sitting up here trying to fight against some shit that has already been set in motion. It's not a train that you can stand in front of without getting ran the fuck over and lost your life on, bitch. It's already been set. Do you know that when they did this test, that it is now considered scientific law? Bitch, do you know what else is considered scientific law? Gravity. Bitch, so can you grasp the gravity of the trans situation, bitch? Like, we're not about to sit up here and ask you whether we have permission or consent to exist as women. We already do. Ain't nobody asking you about that shit. And this whole Turk situation, bitch. So it's just a whole other situation, an extension of the situation surrounding how a Black woman couldn't speak on her view on feminism because she was considered property. Because she was considered an object. She was considered for sale. Now here we are, trans women, 2021, constantly having to have conversations like this where I have to validate my fucking existence to your little bitch ass. But you have Google at your disposal. And you could learn this shit, but you simply do not want to. You would rather come to us with your opinions, posing fucking rude ass questions in complete deposition to our motherfucking existence, simply based on your opinion, then rather research the information, simply see a different point of view, and then ask positive questions about why we perceive life the way we perceive life. Because, bitch, that's not where you coming from at all. At all. Bitch, you talking to somebody who knew that I was female. My family did everything that they could possibly do to condition me as a male. And bitch, when I tell you that it did not stick, it didn't stick. I never sat in a position of male privilege. I never was like, oh, I'm a gay boy for like years and years and years sitting up here with the rest of my gay friends critiquing how, bitches looking outfits and all this type of bitch, that shit did not fucking happen. I sat in a place of womanhood in men's clothing while my parents told me that I was a male. And the only thing that I said was, oh, okay. Bitch, y'all got a lot of nerve. Y'all got a lot of fucking nerve.
Woo.
Before I let Black Mermaid speak, I actually wanted to piggyback on that because being a trans woman, I actually got to experience the whole spectrum of the LGBT community, except being a lesbian, honey, because I don't. So
Me as a
I
pansexual
actually
agrees.
had, yes, I actually had the male privilege for 28 years of my life. So I can completely understand what TT is talking about. But I had to submissify my transness for society, which again, that emulates and kind of was like a snowball effect for my mental. Like I was actually committed because I couldn't take it no more. Like I just couldn't take having to subjectify who I authentically was for the rest of the world because they wanted this side and that's it. It was either you be gay or you can't be who you are, and that's not how things work. When it comes to mine, especially at a very young age, and a lot of trans women and males, they know there's no, being, raped or molested or any of that. If you had a normal childhood, you just know it just in you. It's just a soul feeling that something is just not right. So for you to tell a child that they're wrong, that's very hurtful. Like everyone says, like words stick, and it stuck with me for 28 years of my life. So how dare you tell somebody that they can't be who they authentically are? And I'm done.
I just want to pivot to something Dave Chappelle said towards the end of his special, where he says,
Hit it.
I'm not going to do any more jokes about the LGBTQ community. I lost my friend, and obviously there's some resentment there because he feels as though social media lashed out in a way that was so harsh that it contributed to her death. The final punchline before he walked off stage was, stop punching down on my people, because he felt as though the LGBTQ community as a whole has been able to dominate the conversation about rights, which is akin to him saying, hey, look how good their movement is going. So how does that make y'all feel personally? Because as African Americans and as a part of the trans community, do y'all feel like you're winning or losing?
Hell no. Hell no. And I'm explaining to you exactly why the fuck I said that. And I've been talking about this since the fucking Black Lives Matter shit started. During the middle of Black Lives Matter, let me tell you how many people went missing. I think it was like it was like 6, 7, 8 people during all that shit went missing. Trans girls like just got either beat up in the middle of it or just went missing. And y'all want to sit here and talk about, oh well, Black Lives Matter and we should support y'all. But I was like, but when we say, Black trans lives matter, they're like, nah, we don't do that. And I was like, but y'all want us to help y'all though.
Exactly.
I was like, but when I say, oh, the 8 of my sisters are missing, ain't heard from, ain't nobody even bat an eyelash.
Batted eye, yeah.
Bat a motherfucking eyelash, and y'all want
So
to tell us to
do
stop
y'all
punching down on y'all. I'm gonna put my
do
foot
you
on
have
your
to
neck.
make a distinction between the two? Because I mean,
do, and I'm gonna explain to you why you
okay.
do.
Oh wow,
Because
wow. That's something that I never thought about. You actually have
when
to
I
make
tell
a
you that
distinction
there is still
between
an
the two.
astronomical amount of people, Boosie, I'm gonna use him as an example because he's the
Oh,
main one
oh
that I
Lord,
see
that's
all
probably
the
the
time.
worst.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but y'all
No,
gonna
no,
hear me
no, no, no. It's
say.
valid.
So
It's valid as
Boosie
hell.
has said on multiple occasions that he actively made his son partake underage in sexual acts with women to solidify, as he calls it, his straightness, because he does not, conform to that whole homosexual narrative. He's old school in the thought, but you have to understand that there is still people out here who do that. Like they'll still be like, they'll still kick their kids out, all of this. So no, when they say Black Lives Matter, they meant cisgender black men, which is why you see so many Black Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Matter, all of that stuff, because you have to technically make a distinction at points and times so that everyone
That's
feels
heavy.
included.
No, that's heavy as fuck because
And I even had to go as far as to tell people that you might not see trans community and gay communities always out protesting, especially the trans community, because it is detrimental to the trans community to be out there protesting, because we don't get the same rights in every city, in every state. So if we get jailed, we'll be thrown into cells that aren't corresponding. Not everywhere in the world is
wow.
good. Some places will throw you in the cell with men and you will be deemed a man. And it is not fair to us to go out here, put ourselves out there, be in danger, protesting for y'all's rights, and y'all still don't give two F's. Respectfully.
Yeah, I guess it's crazy, but it's in a sense it makes you have to make that separation
Black
between.
Mermaid giving all the facts respectively right now. Yes, Queen. Yes, I love you, sis. I love you.
You know, you
she put it right back on me. She put it right back on mute. She was like, okay, and done. I just, for those that are trying to sit, those that are here for the education, those that are here for the information, those who are just here in support, I think that is a huge thing when we start talking about comedy. I am a firm believer that comedians should absolutely push the envelope and push the marker and make us think, because we wouldn't be having this conversation now if not for that special. And that's not something that I want to consider an accolade, but that's sad. That's sad that it took.
But
go ahead, Audrey.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Please,
Okay,
listen. I'm here to fill air until y'all ready to talk again, because I want y'all to really.
Oh, I was listening to your point. I thought you had a point.
I did, but
yeah, that's what I was saying. I was waiting till you finish.
Oh no,
Yeah.
just basically, it's sad that it took outrage over his comedy special for a platform like me to say, hey, wait a minute, here's and I'm talking about, I'm holding even me and my team accountable. Hey, there's an issue here in the community that maybe we aren't looking at enough, or something that we weren't aware of. We need to tap on that. As a matter of fact, many of them said, Kurt, I'm surprised it took you this long. I said, well, I hadn't seen the closer. And it wasn't until I sat there and I watched it, and then I got caught up on all the public outrage. I was like, holy shit, this is a big thing. So then after so many people got upset with me when I first saw the special, and I was like, I don't understand. I wasn't offended by it. But then of course I wasn't offended by it, because number one, I'm biased as a comedian. Number two, I'm a cisgendered man. So these are not things that I really thought about. But what I am is blackity black. I'm black as fuck. And that shit bothers me. And when people in our community feel away and they feel like I'm not a part of the black community, I'm black asterisk, and that's not the way it should be. It's just not the way it should be. When we say all lives, when they say all lives matters, we get upset, but we haven't even determined if all lives matter within Black Lives Matter.
Period. Because again, in the black community, it doesn't, and it's sad. Again, like you said, it takes Dave Chappelle.
Okay, preach, because you literally have somebody who's sitting over here who is a light-skinned biracial individual on top of being a transgender individual.
Fact. She put it right back on mute.
Exactly. No, she's good. Go ahead, Queen. That's what I'm talking about. But again, it sucks that it actually has to take this for us to have another discussion about our community. Like Tiana said, like Black Mermaid said, there's Google. You can always ask any trans woman that feels comfortable to give you the education, to tell you more about our community. But until we even get the recognition in our own community, then we'll go ahead and sit at the table with the rest of them, because we don't feel that right. We don't feel that comfort. We don't feel that safety net. And that's why our community, even as the LGBT community, go as hard as we do for each other, because we are all we have. So why should we stand firm on something that don't even stand firm for us? So when we stand firm for ourselves, that's what we're going to do. regardless
That
of what
goes for
anybody
both
else says.
communities, by the way. Don't think we're just bashing on
Exactly.
just the Black community. We're also bashing on
Oh
LGBT
yeah, no,
because
we
they
bashing
also
on
do the
every
same thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
and that's the
they can
other
be
thing.
messy.
The
Yeah, no.
LGBTQ community there's some
Listen, the same gay
disconnect
men that
there.
we hang out with will be the same ones to turn around and call us every derogatory male term in the motherfucking book in a fucking heartbeat.
So wait,
Yeah.
so you mean to tell me two communities that you identify with, in a sense, don't fully
No,
support you?
not at all. Don't at all.
How do you mentally cope with that?
We just be strong and powerful and walk our ass and curse all y'all out.
Kurt, did I not
Period.
explain to you pre-show how there is literally a group within the Black gay community who Black trans women have like head-on issue with, and we call those the Butch Queens. The Butch Queens are always feeling that Black trans women are direct, headbutting, competitive individuals towards, how they get the trade, how they have sex, all the niggas that be out here, the big dick motherfuckers and blah, 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 blah. And so because they see themselves as sitting in an effeminate space, that we as trans women, we're not really women, because I could, stuff my bra and I could give womanhood. I could do my hair and I could give womanhood. I could put lip gloss on and I could give womanhood. So, bitch, you ain't really a woman. And I don't like the fact that you out here snatching up all the big dick, bitch. And so we literally get that. And meanwhile, we're sitting over here, educated Black trans women, like, bitch, it ain't about dick. It's not about dick, and I don't put hair on to be a woman, and I don't put lip gloss on to be a woman, and I don't stuff my bra to be a woman, bitch. It's more that goes into it than fitting an appearance to sit in a seat of womanhood, and that seat is not respected within the Black gay community. The Black gay community.
And I also have to
Tiana,
say,
you might need to start stand up your damn self. Listen, you funny.
Okay, period.
Go ahead, Audrey.
And I also have to say this, because I'm gonna go ahead and give a little insight, because I've been telling a lot of people this for quite some time. We need to go ahead and differentiate the two terms female and women. Okay, so we already know the term of female. You are biologically born a female just as well as you're biologically born a male. Okay, so you're not born into womanhood and you're not born into malehood. You don't come out of somebody's pussy paying a bill. You don't come out of somebody's pussy.
My mom tried. She tried though, Audrey. She definitely put that water.
Your name might be paying a bill, but you personally are not paying a bill.
Exactly, but
let me clarify.
So yes, so you have to grow and mature and blossom into these things. So when we say we are women, we are women. We grew, we nurtured, we embodied what society deems as womanhood. So until cisgendered women or females, let me go ahead and be politically correct, cisgendered females can differentiate and decide the two, then we can have a conversation. I said, because at the end of the day, we already know as women, we're not cis-born females. We understand that. We don't have reproductive organs to carry children. We get that. We're not trying to take that from anyone. However, you're not going to deny our rights as women.
Ooh, Audrey. Oh, and wait, hold on now. I need you to come back for a second, because you just made a damn good point that I wanted to bring up that Dave Chappelle said.
Okay, and let me hold on, wait a minute. Let me go on to something else. We talk about transgender women.
Just go ahead.
Let me make something very clear. Cisgender women have never been the blueprint for me. Have never been the blueprint, bitch. Never been the blueprint. When I was a child and I saw myself in the mirror and I heard my father tell me that, because you have a penis, you are male. I looked in the mirror and I saw a person who seemed to be more effeminate physically. I saw that. So it was interesting to see that I was giving effeminate physically, even though my father was just simply pointing out my genitalia. When I tell you, as I've grown, those features continue to grow with me. You think that hormones gave me these titties? Bitch, these titties have always been sitting. Always been sitting. The hip to rib cage ratio has always been feminine, okay? Always. So it's baffling to me how some women, especially in the Black community, some Black women think that I sat up here and saw that Black women were the blueprint for my womanhood. Bitch, it was never that. It was never that. I looked in the mirror. I already saw myself as a woman, just as you looked in the mirror and saw yourself as a woman and embraced it. It's just that I knew that I had different parts and different pieces, and I had to come to terms with that in my adulthood. But bitch, you were never the fucking blueprint for me, ever. Ever. I just knew that I sat in a place of womanhood, again, whether motherfuckers wanted me to or not. Now, that's my story. That's not everybody's story. But bitch, I am really getting sick and tired of hearing that, women are the blueprint for Trent. No, bitch, you were never the blueprint for me. I knew that vaginas were something that existed. I didn't know that there were surgeries out there to give me one, but I always knew that I was a woman. And I sat in a place of womanhood, regardless of how many people reminded me that I had a penis. So, bitch, to me, I was already a woman without you thinking that you were the blueprint for me. Because that shit is astronomical to me. How y'all think that y'all the blueprint.
All right.
I mean, she's not wrong. Y'all be quick to be like, y'all want to be me. I don't want to be you.
Well, see, and that's okay. I wanted to get to that point that Dave Chappelle made in the special because he said, all right, we are at the 2-hour mark. I'm gonna just say this. We're gonna wrap this up in about 30 minutes. But before we complete it, I want to make sure to shout out Everyday Cosplay, who is sponsoring this episode of King's Court. Everyday Cosplay for all your cosplay everyday wear. And we got a little quick visual for you. Hey, listen, y'all need to go ahead on everydaycosplay.com and go ahead on. New merch is already available for purchase, and definitely make sure to go follow on Instagram to be up to date whenever they drop new apparel. Everyday Cosplay, a firm supporter of the King's Court and a supporter of the LGBTQ community. And I thought it was really dope that she came through and wanted to give the support to not only you ladies, but she's been holding it down in the chat. That's Gadgets and Geekery, Quincy B. Drawn. She definitely holds it down for the community as a whole and a big supporter here at Head Nerds in Charge. Now, as we get ready to round things out, Dave Chappelle said that TERF women, he likened non-cisgender women presenting themselves as women akin to white people who use blackface to imitate black people. Remember that? And he said, "Oh, well, you know, what's the most famous? What's his name? The white man that was a tennis player."
Child, listen, I don't watch Wimbledon unless Serena.
Oh no. Come on. The Kardashians.
Oh, that's the girl. Shit.
The Kardashians' dad. The Kardashians' mom.
Chris.
Yes, Kris Jenner. No, the other one. Bruce Jenner. Thank you. Well,
he didn't play tennis.
Caitlyn Jenner. Now her name is Caitlyn Jenner. Now he said Caitlyn Jenner was the woman of the year, her first year ever being a woman.
No, y'all talking about Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah, thank you. And I was like, no, but either way. But Caitlyn Jenner, won Woman of the Year, her first year, and never had a period. That's like me going to the BET Awards. That's like me going to the BET Awards, and they say, "Nigger of the Year" goes to Eminem. Now,
I remember that.
Now, for cisgendered women, do you feel like there's a lot of heat, a lot of pushback, or that they are unjustifiably offended? Go ahead.
Who's unjustifiably
First
offended?
and
Just for
foremost,
clarification.
Well, it's cisgender women, women who
Yeah.
feel like, oh, you know, non-cis women are imitating me because how
Go ahead,
could they
Audrey.
know?
Okay, so I feel like as all of us should answer this cosplay comment in a minute, but I have to attest to this. Again, people need to separate womanhood from female. Until we can get that understanding in the same space, then I think that we'll be able to have a mature conversation, because they still not understanding that we're not imitating womanhood. What is your definition of womanhood, to be exact? Because anybody that has a feminine energy enough to portray what a woman is, it could be many different things. However, you can't imitate being a female. We can't imitate that. First of all, I ain't trying to have, well, I mean, I would love to carry a child for 9 months if I was, able to. However, I scientifically don't have that organ, if that makes any sense. So until people
Uterus
can
for the people who are
understand that
being
education,
oblivious.
yes, uterus and ovaries, until people can understand that, then we can have a conversation. We don't try to emulate females. That's not who we're here for. Okay. Again, TT
First and
said
foremost.
first and foremost, she didn't get her representation of womanhood from a cisgendered female. Me, all I had was cisgender female. So my immutation of what a womanhood is from the emulations
Let me
of
get
what
y'all
I
together. Let me get y'all
from
together.
females.
So you
Not
need
yet.
to tell me that
again,
y'all are
TT,
sitting
that
here as cis women, and you
It's the delay,
say
Audrey.
that the only thing that defines your womanhood is the fact that you might possibly have a functioning vagina with functioning ovaries. So you mean to tell me that womanhood is only about your vagina? So that's the only thing that makes you a woman. Nothing else makes you a fucking woman. Nothing else. That's it. So the only reason that women are women is because you got pussy. That's it. But meanwhile, we literally have women who are born with deformed vaginas or deformed penises. We have lots of genetic anomalies that cause cis women to be born with fully functional penises, but their genetics will say that they are actually cis women. Their DNA will say so. So we have all of this going on in regards to genitalia. And you mean to tell me that you as a cis woman are stupid enough to limit your own womanhood to just your vagina? So you just that goddamn stupid.
Hold on, wait
just
a minute,
that
hold on. Let me jump in
Women
there.
have pussies and men have penises. Baby, Felicia, if you don't get your ass the fuck up out of here with that bullshit.
Now wait a minute, I got
because the conversation of genitalia
I gotta wait. It's
is
weird. I gotta wait for
on
the
a
catch up.
sliding spectrum, just as gender expression is on a sliding spectrum. Because, bitch, let me tell you something. When I sit over here on my lazy days with a 5 o'clock shadow and hairy legs and all of these things, bitch, it doesn't make me any less of a woman than it does when regular women sit up here with hairy armpits and all of these things. Why do you sit up here and think that a vagina is the only thing that makes you a woman?
Now, real quick, T, I want you to, and I know you're going to be on a delay when you answer this, but then to that, if you say, "Oh, is the vagina the only thing that defines womanhood?" So then, for a parallel case in Rachel Doza, who identified as Black, presented as Black, and said internally, "I'm a Black person." The only thing that was different was the fact that she had white skin. So then by that very definition, does Black skin, is that the only thing that defines us as African-American people?
No, experience.
Okay. So then
that's why
Rachel Doza, but to that point then, Black Mermaid, then Rachel Dolezal then, for all intents and purposes, could say that she was African American.
Did she grow up in the same experience? Did her parents give her the same experience that all of our parents gave us?
Now, but you gotta now listen. All I'm gonna say is, are we going to give white people? Are we going to give white people?
No, let's really talk about that.
Hold on. Are we going to give white people?
You do understand that white people are just white black people. Like, have y'all not seen? I forget the name of what's her name? She's like a teacher or whatever. But white people are like removed from blackness. But essentially, if you go back far enough, white people are essentially black people who are just no longer black. So I'm not giving Rachel a pass, because where she sits today is a person who's not only removed from blackness, but she herself, her genetics, she's not only removed from blackness, but she is not of African descent. She's not of African descent. You can put all of the motherfucking melanated, whatever shots, whatever. You can make yourself as black as the asphalt outside and still not sit from a place of African descendants. Okay. So, but at the end of the day, what are white people? What white people, just like everybody else on this planet, are people who are removed from blackness, but like the rest of the world, originated in Africa.
Now, and see, mind you, I asked the question because as a cisgender man, I don't have a concept of womanhood at all. Like it's not something that I can mentally define in my mind, nor can I understand how one reconciles it in their mind as to how to identify or redefine how they want to present or live their life. Now, what I do know is, I'm sorry, I'm gonna give you a chance, Black Maria, but what I do
for you, so go ahead.
No. I don't. I was going to limit my opinion on this, but I've been giving it all goddamn show. But go ahead, Black Maria. What do you want to ask me?
Nothing. I was just gonna be like, I think everybody has their own viewpoint on how they view a woman. Let me put that out there.
Okay, agreed.
And so I am not opposed to how men view women, because everybody views womanhood differently. Because you have to kind of give it a spectrum, especially with there being women who are insterile and women who, as Tiana let us know, have born differently. So there's a spectrum, just like, sexuality and gender expression and all that. We've come to realize that everything is a spectrum. So there is
it's not a one and done.
No.
It's not a one and done anything. But then by that logic, then when we give people the space and place to explore that spectrum and redefine themselves, I put it like this: if I can be whomever I identify myself to be, then there are no lines or boundaries, and a lot of lines and boundaries are man-made, because even the concept of white, black, Hispanic, this, that, and the third, they're more regional than there are genetic, if you will, because we're all still a human race. But then that starts to blur that line of, oh, we all aren't different, and we aren't, but we are nuanced. So for those who have issue, do you understand why some have issue, but then they need to broaden their scope as to what do we define as womanhood, is what you're saying?
No, because let's be real. The term black is something that originated here, but being black, whether people who are born in Africa get the shit or not, blackness is definitely something. It's definitely something. So let's not sit up here and act like, when you come from Africa, you're not black. Because, bitch, the second an African arrives on this soil, the entire United States, especially those of us of white descent, are quick to let them know that they're black, just like everybody else who is simply of African descent, but not originally from Africa. So the term black is what's going on here.
Got you. Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense to me. So then for the entire panel, I guess I want to surmise everything that we talked about. And I just want to get a flat out consensus Black Mermaid, did Dave Chappelle's The Closer offend you personally?
Some parts, not all of it.
All right. Audrey, did Dave Chappelle's The Closer offend you personally?
Baby, you gotta unmute because I ain't even hear you.
No, she
no, child, I just ain't say nothing.
She said, I'm gonna get a sip of my tea first.
I love it.
I'll tell my mic.
Not
See,
you don't do
God
it.
didn't want me to say the truth. That's why he let.
Look,
God didn't want me to say the truth. That's why my AirPod came out my ear.
That's all right. Let it
For
speak
me
the truth, Audrey.
For the community, yes, he offended the community. For me personally, 25%.
Okay. Oh no, and that's valid because I don't think it's a yes or a no. I guess this is a varying degree. So, T, I know you on a delay, so by the time you catch up to this, just let me know if you were personally offended by it, and then for all the ladies, after Tiana answers, was this comedy special detrimental to the trans equality movement?
Yes.
Hell yes, I was fucking offended because again, you're talking to somebody who's a Black biracial. And the reason I say Black biracial is because a lot of folks want to, they want to say that I'm just biracial. When you say that I'm just biracial, you're throwing me into a category of people who are like half Mexican, half Malaysian, half Filipino. No, baby, my melanin specifically comes from my dark ass daddy, and that nigga Black as fuck. So when I tell you that I'm a Black biracial, and then to top it off, also trans. So baby, I sat in a certain type of seat as I always have to defend my Blackness and be ready to have conversations in regards to Blackness because I'm biracial. And then you sat your motherfucking ass up here giving a comedy special, completely leaving out not only certain members of the trans community, but specifically Black trans members of the, like, bitch, you got me all the way fucked up. All the way fucked up. Because I, as a Black biracial person, always have to be ready for Black conversation as well as Black trans conversation. So yeah, this shit fucking offended me. Oh yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how offended were you?
Wow.
And as she,
well, we already know she was 100.
110. I'm almost positive there's absolutely 110, but I'm waiting for her to click back on because she'll get there at some point. But Audrey, do you think, and you might get cut off when Tiana comes back, but do you think this special was detrimental to the trans rights movement?
Of course, because again, we already have
bitch level 5,000, bitch level Goku, like
bitch level Goku.
Bitch, I ain't fucking with y'all. This shit was stupid AF. It's been stupid since it started because it let me know how I had to move through society as a young individual, and to know that it's continued on to this point and nothing has changed. And we're literally a research generation. All the information that you could possibly gather is right at your fingertips. And you mean to tell me that instead of gathering that information, you sat here with a white woman who was more worried about her stance in comedy than she was about educating you on trans issues, but then to top it off, couldn't educate you on Black trans issues. So she sat there like a puppy with a leash, being fucking subservient to your fucking views because she wanted to be a comedian. She thought the shit was fucking funny. Like, I'm not trying to be offensive to the family and all of that. If they take offense to that, bitch, fuck it. Oh, fucking well. But bitch, when I tell you, it hits completely different from me, bitch, on period. And y'all can see me about that personally because I give zero fucks. Okay. No, ma'am.
Okay, but in her defense, the girl was never Black to begin with.
I think she already muted. Audrey, if you can, before Tiana comes back, because that delay is going to kill us. You were saying about how you felt if it was detrimental to the Black trans movement. Try, please. Just
hurry.
Just try. This shit was funnier than the special.
Yes. of course, it's always going to be detrimental when you're targeting a community that you have no lack of knowledge of. So, yes, it was very detrimental to us. However, me personally, because I have a lot of other shit to worry about on my own personal time.
Period.
I personally wasn't highly offended because at the end of the day, his shit don't make me stink and my pussy don't make him water. So it doesn't really matter his opinions. However, it's the outsiders' opinions that we have a problem with. Because at the end of the day, you don't know. So until you know, until you experience our life, we don't give a fuck what you have to say.
I mean, if you want to experience our life, though, feel free. Let me tell you, we could give you. You want a taste? You want a taste? We could gladly give you a taste.
So Black Murray, Audrey, I just want to hear from you two real quick. Do you think Dave Chappelle is in effect, like Violet said, trying to learn, but doing it in a really inaccurate way? Or do you feel like that was just his malicious way of saying, y'all done fucked with me for 5 specials. I'm going out the way I want to go out, and I'm going out jabbing those who I feel are my biggest critics.
If that's the case, everybody would be his fucking biggest critic. But no,
Period.
I don't feel like he was jabbing at anyone. I feel like he was jabbing at everyone as a whole, especially the white community, only because those are the only ones that follow him around and berate the hell out of him, according to him.
Yeah, I ain't walking up behind no Dave Chappelle. I ain't walking up on no black man in no damn parking lot.
Car. First of all, because I know better. You gonna follow me to my car? That nigga gonna reach in his trunk and come out with a pocket rocket. I ain't got time for that. So. No, I think he was coming after everyone as a whole. As we said, you have a long, extensive list, but I think he had some unfinished business, as I would call it.
Yeah.
With the LGBT people, or what does he call them? The elemental
alphabet people. That's what he said previously. But he said he said he's gonna address them properly from now on.
Yeah,
Child, fuck that.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, moving on, because he's not gonna do it.
Wait. I'm sorry, Black Murray. Audrey, why you say fuck that? Come on, I want to know
why. Because it pissed me off because we worked hard to be who we are, correct? Just like black people, we worked hard for who we are. So for you to denounce our letters that we worked hard to create, no, ma'am, that's like us denouncing black people and calling them out their name. So you need to address us as shus. Right, you need to address us as such. We not no alphabet people. We not no LB. You know who we are. So don't play us. Don't play us because we're not the ones to play with. So
play with your mama.
He just horrible. Like he's uneducated. And that's like any cis person that's just not educated enough to be educated. Okay. Right. You take your little bit of experiences and you run with it. So until you get educated, you a dumb fuck. I'm sorry to be disrespectful, but
you ain't gotta apologize to me. I agree.
Right. Until you get your learnings, you don't have any right to talk about it. Period.
That's just how I feel. I tell this to people all the time is if you are not of the trans experience, do not comment on the trans experience. I don't care how you feel about it. Y'all do not understand the amount of barriers, hoops, obstacles, self arguments, the late nights, the hormonal battles, the internal battles, the emotional battles. There's so much that comes with this journey that all of us are collectively going on at one point. For anyone to come and try to invalidate me, I wish a motherfucker would. I have literally cursed the whole bitch out, and we are not friends no more because she tried to say that I would never be. Don't. It's not cute. It's not funny. We don't find it entertaining. It's not.
And it's not up for debate.
It's not up for debate.
That's just like us telling men and denounce manhood, or to denounce.
You couldn't make a woman come, so therefore you're not a man.
When you put it in them terms, men like, oh wait a minute.
That's how we
roll. So like if you come for your
2022.
manhood, if we come for your manhood, it's a whole different story. So when you come for us, it's going to be a whole different story. So at the end of the day, he lost all credibility going forward. So until he get the lack of knowledge, we don't address him.
All right. Listen, let me just say this.
He is exactly what he is as a profession. A comedian.
A comedian.
He is a clown.
And I always tell people, you know, clowns are funny until they're not. And then,
Exactly.
because clowns absolutely can be scary. And one of the things that I will
Look at
say is,
it.
but
Okay, well, it isn't scary because he
yeah,
said he's only built from your fear. So if you're not scared of him, you're not scared.
see, and this is what happens when you get black nerds all on one podcast because
I'm sorry.
I already knew. I already knew. I was like, hey, we about to go down the it hole. But I'm gonna say this because we are about to wrap. And not the see, that's not how I meant it. But either way, I just want to say, prior to this conversation, I considered myself pretty well informed, pretty open minded, and pretty educated. And in talking with you wonderful ladies, as well as Violet Gray and Ayana, who wasn't able to make it on the show tonight, I realized that I was much more ignorant than I knew, that I absolutely had no fucking clue, how offensive Dave Chappelle's comedy special was to another marginalized demographic. And I watched him insult everybody. But when you really look at it, there is a discrepancy. It's one thing to insult everybody for 30 minutes, but then take 30 minutes to insult one specific group. Now, he did have a point to make. And the point he was trying to make was that Black lives should matter over white feelings. But he used the trans community as the vehicle, and he ran it into the ground to make that point. And that
a white trans woman at that.
Right. And at the end of the day, even as a comedian, I'll just say it is not for us to dictate what is offensive to the offended community. Because I'll be damned if somebody white tells me I should get over slavery. And when you look at it in those terms, that's when, and I always have to correlate some things to race because as cisgendered men, we don't always get it. And honestly, we may not ever completely get it, but what we can always do is listen. And we can have these open conversations. And you women are so dope for coming here and having a very candid conversation, not only about your personal business, but opinions that could easily, because some of us got brands, some of us we on shows, some of us are out in the public entertainment sector. This shit's dangerous.
I just want to say that I have not been blocked for 7 days on Facebook for explaining what a tranny chaser is. So
that's some bullshit.
My DMs. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
Are you serious? See,
yes.
Facebook.
There's dialogue that you cannot have on Facebook. Facebook will not let you. They will put you in Facebook jail.
See, and once again, and the sad part is, I'm just going to say this again. We got to stop relying on other people's platforms to be able to congregate like this, to have these conversations. Listen, for my people, y'all know we are inclusive of everyone. We want everybody to enjoy the content and get the nuances. But for my people of color, there is no reason why anybody on this panel should feel like they get no support from the very community that they represent. Especially when you call on them to put their lives on the line for the cause.
All I can say is this, and I'm gonna close and point this. Okay. I want to thank you, Curtis, for giving us ladies a platform to be able to express our transness out loud and to be able to give the education to your viewers. So we thank you. But for me, like you said, we have brands. I'm gonna keep it cute. If any guys or ladies have any questions about my trans,
thank you so much for letting us speak on this. Thank you.
You can definitely inbox me. I have all the questions and answers for you that you may have. I do want to say this, as a Black trans community, even though we don't need the support of our Black community, we need the support of each other, because without us, there is no you. Without you, there was no us. So if we could come together as one unit, it would be a better place. And then you'll be able to get these rights as y'all so-called say that us gays have, because we are able to stand firm in our truth and be able to come together as one to fight for rights that we rightfully deserve. So until we can come into a same space and understanding with one another, that we can come together as one and build these Black rights that we have not yet gotten. So that is one thing that we could work on a better unity for our community, and then we can work on one with each other.
And
yeah, let's keep that same thing rolling. Black Mermaid.
And I'm gonna do my closing statements.
There you go. That's you already know.
Yeah,
I
let
was
me do
going
my
with it.
closing statements.
Go ahead, give me your Jerry's thoughts.
No. Thank y'all so much for just coming out and supporting just this dialogue in general. It's not often that, you know, trans women of color specifically get to come together in a healthy environment and talk about the issues in and outside of the community as it is, because we have so much inner community quorums with various communities that we are in, be it Black, LGBT, Hispanic, you know, Indian, for all walks. There's always something holding, you know, somebody from being their true self, which is why so many people have what, you know, their issues with it. But I do want to say, if y'all do have any questions, I'm pretty sure all of y'all feel more than, you know, confident to come and ask any of us. We are up here to answer questions. We, you know, we're asked to be up here because we have, you know, such a open discussion about the various topics throughout the day. I want to say Tiana and Audrey have no issues at all being, you know, the person that you come to. And if you don't feel comfortable coming to us, step outside of your comfort zone and go make friends with, you know, a trans person in, you know, your area, for example, because the best way to understand someone's lifestyle is to go out and ask, because not all of us have the same experience. And if you want to better your opinion on the community as a whole, go out and ask. That's all I have.
Before Tiana goes in with her, before TT goes in with her tangent, let me just say this. Anybody out there that just went to try to go purchase my book and found an error sign, let me go ahead and put this disclaimer out there. My book is under reconstruction, okay, due to printing errors and formatting. So before you guys go buy my book, again, which tells a life story of how I became a gay man to a trans woman, just know that my book is on standby. So as soon as my book is republished, I will let Curtis know so he can go ahead and distribute all of that there for you guys. But I just want you guys to let y'all know that it is very informational, informative, and inspiring to anybody that has any child that is lost, hurting, and can't find who they are and in need of search of something. If you have anybody or know someone, please reach out to us or a community outreach center in your town for those resources. And again, I am more than willing. My inboxes are open to talk about anything that needs to be shared. So I just want to put that out there.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. But before Tiana says that, I just want to highlight Mitch's comments. Thank y'all for having this conversation and keeping it 100. This is the part that hits me right in the feels. Watch this with my two kids, who are both of the LGBTQ plus community, and one is trans. This was inspiring as fuck for both of them. Bless y'all and stay safe. Y'all ain't gonna get me. Y'all not gonna look. I'm
not gonna cry on this damn TV. Y'all not gonna get me crying.
Look, okay, you not about to catch me on the tip. But
no, that's
that means a lot, because it's always good to hit the youth. I know that it can be confusing for who's grown up and started my transition so much later than
I'm gonna say thank you to Mitch and hello to the kids. Hey,
at least it was you this time.
I'm just going to say that again. I appreciate being able to sit here on this platform and use my voice to speak about how passionately I feel about my experience being a Black biracial trans woman. And I have no issue answering the uncomfortable, crazy, wild questions any of y'all have for me. Because remember, I'm Black for 7 days now, so please feel free to DM me. Just remember that whether you would like me to be a woman or not, I am one. So if you come in my inbox with that bullshit, you already know what's up. Because again, I do not have to ask you permission for my womanhood's existence, bitch. So, but bitch, I'm here for you. Let me know.
Oh, okay. I thought that was a little bit more gangster. I appreciate you, Tiana. Listen, to all the ladies that are on the panel, thank you for giving your time, not only to take the time out for 2+ hours. Listen, there is no excuse now for you to say that you saw this and then still remain ignorant. If you want information, the internet is readily available, but also we have those in our own community that are willing to educate you, though it is not their job to educate you. They're willing to take that time and effort. And this will not be the last time that we have these ladies on the platform. And as always, we are going to continue to give those who are not represented properly in mainstream media a platform where they can come and voice the concerns of the community. And that's how we start to bridge the gap, by having these conversations. So to everyone, and I'm gonna just say this is my final point. To every one of you motherfuckers that told me I shouldn't do this, everybody that said to me, Kurt, this isn't important, or Kurt, this is taking a risk, or Kurt, you're gonna get canceled and we're not gonna be able. Guess what? The whole purpose of building the platform was to have the conversations. So for everyone that told one side to shut up and one side told another side to shut up, both of you are wrong. No, sit there and talk and get to a mid-ground. And if no mid-ground can be met, then be able to walk away with the understanding that at least we had the conversation. And that's where we start and finish when it comes to bridging the gap, not only in our community, but across the entire world spectrum. Because if you really want equality, somebody got to open their mouth. Closed mouths don't get fed. So thank you. That's all. Look, we getting ready to get up out of here. Please make sure y'all share the feed. Make sure to support each one of these ladies. I'm going to go ahead on and put their handles back up. Make sure you follow Black Mermaid on all the social medias below. Make sure to definitely go pick up Audrey's new book when it's available and follow her on all the social medias below. She's hilarious on TikTok. I haven't quite mastered it, but I'm old as fuck. And and definitely do not miss.
Girl, follow me on TikTok.
Yeah, and don't miss T. And you can follow her on all these things. We already know what y'all be doing on Snapchat. So I mean, just make sure y'all jump in the inbox correctly. Otherwise, she will give you the business. You don't have no problems doing it. Thank y'all so much for all your questions.
Y'all jump in all inboxes correctly, please.
yeah, please. Even mine. Yeah,
respectfully.
Yeah,
Wait,
respect. There you go.
How was correctly for your inbox? I'm just curious.
Never mind. You know what?
Continuing on.
I started to say, because you know me, I started to say something off color. I was like, but I'm going to be professional because, one day, hopefully with the babies watching, kids, remember, always have them come in their inboxes respectfully. Tune in to Head Nerds in Charge next Wednesday to find out how to nastily jump in my DMs by all means. We saved that for the adult show. But for everybody that stuck around and followed and supported y'all and watched me blush through this entire goddamn show and fumble my way into trying not to say the wrong goddamn thing, just know this. No, seriously, for my cisgendered men, let me say this. You don't have to know everything. It's okay to say you don't know. It's okay to be ignorant as long as you're genuine in your want to understand to be better. And that is what I have learned from doing these sit downs and these interviews and talking to these amazing Black women, both cisgender and non-cisgender, is that, you know what? The reason why they all think we're idiots is because we don't admit that we're idiots. Think about that for a little while. It's your boy King Kurt Live. Big shout out to Violet Gray. Make sure y'all go follow and support her. She'll be performing very shortly, and her full interview will be up on our YouTube page. Also, the Unicorns, Straight Up No Chaser, brand new show coming to the HNIC platform: mental health, pop culture, and sex talk. I don't want to watch. So they have a live show November 6th, 7 p.m. Go to the HNIC events page if you're in the Philadelphia area to come check them out live. And as always, thank you again to everybody. And you know what? Be safe, but most importantly, be loving.
I love you. I love you. Oh.